Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and Cho'Gall mains, as we are here in Heroes CCL Season 3 kickoff day, and we already have seen one best of 5 take place, and we're getting ready for our second best of 5 of the day. I'm still Bahamut, still joined by Grubby and Justing, and I gotta ask, what'd y'all get up to in the break, Grubby? What'd you get up to? Did you eat some chili?
No, I was testing some openers in Age of Empires 4.
Of course. Curry's got one thing on his mind, and it's multiple different armies and microing. But Justin, what did you get up to on your break as well?
I made a delicious smoothie.
Oh, you're a lot healthier than me. I ate fruit snacks as an adult because you got to get your vitamins in somehow. Yeah, it's good vitamins for you right there. But either way, thank you all for
fruit
joining.
Leathers?
The what?
Oh, those are good.
The fruit leather.
Oh, I haven't had those since I was a kid. It's been a long time.
I'll get you some next time.
Oh, please, yeah. There's a PO box. We'll talk, Grubby. We'll send each other care packages. But we are here getting ready for our Simplicity versus Diamond Hands matchup, our second best of 5 of the day. And that first best of 5, honestly, I'm a little shocked by it. But let's talk about this best of 5 because we are getting ready to go, and we got to look at who's on what side. And Grubby, who are we going to see on the 2-time champion of HeroesCCL, Simplicity?
Yeah, the 2-time champion team Simplicity has kept Cure, though he's mostly going to be on the bench. They've got Legacy and they've got Masquerade, and they're now joined by Mene, Fancy Pants, and Unaverted. A very strong star-studded team of champions from different tournaments coming together. Legacy impeccable on the healing. Masquerade, one of the best tanks. Mene used to be one of the best mages. Can he keep up? His HGC ex-colleague, Smex, got trashed today. But it's not a one-man team. It's a 5-man team. And everything, 6-man team actually, it all comes together as a team. So will Mene mesh with his team? Of course, Unaverted was fantastic last season on WildHeart, I believe. And here he is. So an excellent team.
And over on the side of Diamond Hands, Justing, who are we going to be seeing, aside from Caesar Salad, who we just got a lovely interview with?
Well, aside from Caesar Salad, we've got Gotfilth, Elsier, Ventori, Valimar, and June playing that sub position, potentially busting out the Vikings, perhaps. Who knows? I'm not sure who's going to be starting for this roster. I'm not sure if June is playing or not. But if he does play, there's obviously a lot of history with him. And he's got a very weird hero pool. He's got Zarya and the Vikings and all this other strange stuff that he plays. That aside, the rest of the roster is basically came over from the NGS, where they're really strong. So this is probably more of what you'd consider a developmental roster, where they're not really expected to do so well at the start of the season, but the goal is for them to kind of improve as the season progresses and become, get that synergy going and get that experience. So I think that picking up June for them is pretty smart, just because regardless of whether he plays or not, he has that veteran status and he can kind of, give some pointers and teach them a bit. But it'll be really interesting to see, I think, between these two teams, with Simplicity making a lot of roster changes, but being the 2 reigning champs, and then Diamond Hands being what should be a weaker opponent for them, a more developmental roster, like I said. It'll be really interesting to see how the teams match up at the start here.
I agree. Like week 1 is such it's just a bag of craziness. Like you're going to reach in and you don't know what kind of series you're going to get. I personally, as I said, I wasn't expecting the results of the WildHeart versus Chili Mountain to be such a 3-0. I really thought there was going to be a lot more contest between both these sides, but WildHeart came out swinging hard and hit the ball way over the fences and beat out my expectations. I'm sure, Justin, you're sitting there like, no, I've already read the script. I already know what's going to be happening. So it's exciting to see, and we're going to get ready for this next best of 5 here in just a second. I want to shout out our sponsor, Next Level Gaming. Thank you for joining us for HeroesCCL Season 3. And if anyone is watching over at the Esports Center, where they do weekly watch parties for HeroesCCL on Saturday and Sunday. Hello to everyone watching, and thank you for supporting HeroesCCL. And thank you, Next Level Gaming, for joining us for HeroesCCL Season 3. If you would like to know more about Next Level Gaming and the Esports Center, you can use !NXT in chat to find out all of that information. But we are ready to go into our first map of the second best of 5 of the day. And Justin, where we're heading off to?
We'll be heading to Dragonshire, which is picked by Diamond Hands. That's a bit bold, I think, especially for a team that I would consider to be pretty new and pretty fresh. Dragonshire is a map where there's a lot of intricate interactions between the players in the macro. It's not a very straightforward map. I'd say it's the most unique map out of all of them, in the sense where everyone is kind of has to be doing their own thing. So this is a map where teams that are really like self-reliant, where everyone knows their job like down perfectly, these teams will completely stomp other teams on this map. So some teams just don't play this map at all. Some teams love this map. It kind of depends on your shot calling style. So Diamond Hands picking this is a pretty bold move, and it bodes well for them for the confidence going into this match.
Justin,
oh yeah, please.
What do you think about variant C Smash on this map?
I think variant C Smash on all maps is always a good time, as long as you can take advantage of the level 20 banner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
always a fan.
Are his level 1 to 15 good enough to justify variants 1620? C Smash?
Turns out, probably not most of the time. I would have liked to have thought it was, but it turns out that it's probably not worth it.
But it was so cool when you guys made it work the first time, just like going through top 4 in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Then,
that's the simplicity kryptonite, apparently. So, you know, if maybe Diamond Hands could pull it out this game, catch them off guard.
Wasn't it
I
actually?
blame you for some ladder point losses, because after you ran variant C Smash, I kept trying it out, and it doesn't work, first of all, without coordination. Secondly, when you're not justing.
You need double support for it.
I will say this. I will say this because Grubby, I did the exact same thing after seeing Justin do it that following week as well, and I had great success. So I don't know about you, Grubby, but I had a great time. Granted, when I usually play Storm League, I have a 5-stack that I usually play with on a regular basis, and we're pretty synergistic and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that had a little help with it. But getting into this Dragonshire
with randoms too.
Oh, okay. So this is what I was actually gonna question you both about, but I'm glad we're seeing it right at the start. I wanted to talk about top lane because it's such an island in a sense on Dragonshire. Yeah, you get a rotation here and there, but Rexxar, I feel like he's such a good control hero for that top lane, right, Grubby? Or do you think there's something even better than a Rexxar for Dragonshire? Because I think he just slots into that top lane perfectly.
He's really, he's nearly unmovable, like a sumo wrestler that won't go out of the ring until top 4 is gone. And then suddenly, he's an extreme liability, in my opinion. You compare Leoric, the Haka, and Yrel, they can't get ganked by anyone less than 3 players. If it's 2 players, you can't gank Yrel, the Haka, or Leo. But Rexxar, he can die to 2 players. But when he has the Ford, he's nearly invincible. Disagree, agree, Justin.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. In the isolated 1v1, that Rexxar turns into a 2v1 because he's 2 heroes at once. It's really, really unfun to play against the Rexxar because you basically are always in a situation as the offlane where you're either catching the wave or standing on the point, because he can kind of do both at the same time. So you can split up, you can have Misha stand on the point. So that being said, like you said, things like Zeratul and Falstad are really good at punishing Rexxar, because he has really no good way of dealing with getting ganked by those 2 characters, and those characters are especially strong on Dragonshire, so I would maybe be looking to see either picks or bans on those with that in mind.
Well, we have our
no Brightwing yet.
Yeah, no Brightwing from either side. No, I was about to say no Stukov, but I was skimming the bans. I was like, wait a minute, there has to be a Stukov ban if we haven't seen it yet. But both teams will need a support or a healer at this point. And then I would say definitely a lot more damage for the side of Diamond Hands. They have 2 more pickups here. Vala, a lot of priority onto Vala today. She's at 100% participation pick-wise. Karazim coming in, though.
Diamond Hands is playing, this is an Oxygen draft, basically. So what they're running is something that Oxygen, we always banned this map against Oxygen after we realized like what they did, but they were pretty much the only team that really understood how to play this map, and they had one strategy that they always ran, and it was the Rexxar, Anubarak, Karazim with 7-sided strike, and then typically they did it with Mind Control, so I was kind of expecting Mind Control Sylvanas instead of the Hanzo. So I think that's pretty weird. The thing on the other side, though, Johanna is not the tank you want to really play that into, because she has her Unstoppable on her level 1 or D. So it's a good strategy, but maybe not the place to pick it. Yeah. And
what? You want to lose? What are you doing? I'm sorry. Okay. That's a simplicity win.
I'm not impressed with Phoenix's ability to deal damage when he's being pressured.
I'm not impressed by Phoenix dealing damage, period, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that disagree on that one.
It's really good for Storm League in like the one-on-one solo lane, when you want to like carry a little bit and you're gonna go one-on-one lane, you take Phoenix and you use the shields, and then you like Planet Cracker across the map. I've never seen him very good and competitive, and yeah, when he's pressured, it's just too risky for him to try and rely on Warp. He's got a really high maximum damage ceiling, but can he ever trigger it? Because mostly he'll just do like Warp Cannon ranged attacks. Very slow poke, not enough. What do you think, Just?
So this is the one map where I don't hate Phoenix, besides the one with all the Zerglings spawning. I can't think of the name for some reason.
Rexus.
This is the one map besides that I like Phoenix, mainly because you have a lot of skirmishes all over the map, and his big HP shield that he has means so that he doesn't actually take trades like other range do. So you'll see like Junkrat and Vala, if they're not with their team, are kind of struggling. So I like the Phoenix actually on Dragon Shard in particular. I kind of prefer Diamond Hands comp.
What? Wow.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. You know, I got my own. I feel like his ultimates are just so lackluster in comparison to what you could get synergistically with other heroes, like a Mind Control. Like, honestly, Mind Control could be strong, but we'll have to see how right or wrong I am, how completely right I am at the end of the game here, as we're just about loaded into Dragonshire. Justin, thank you for your analysis and breakdown. We will see you after Dragonshire as we are into our first map and our second best of 5 of the day. On the left-hand side, we got Simplicity, Legacy on the Malfurion, Fancy Pants, Pants, I guess, on the Blaze, Mene on the Junkrat, Unaverted on the Vala, and Masquerade on the Joanna. Someone in my Twitch chat lied to me, and I will find you, and I will ban you. Someone said Kier's playing today. On the side of Diamond Hands, we got Tori on the Rexar, got Filth on a Phoenix, Kelsier on the Hanzo, CCL playing a Nubarak, Valimar on the Karazim, and of course, most important player on the side of Diamond Hands Grubby, Misha, to be playing Misha. What are your thoughts on this? I have, I think, said as much as I can about my favorite hero, but what do you think as I'm calling for a Simplicity win?
Yeah, I think level-wise, history-wise, and player-wise, I would expect Simplicity to win. But then, yeah, and I think draft-wise, Diamond Hands may be a little bit better. I don't fully understand it yet, but I have seen it over and over in pro play that you need heroes that have a jump on this map. Hanzo, Phoenix, and Nubarak, Karazim have that. Rexar may not. Junkrat kinda has it, Joanna can spec it at level 10, Blaze has a bunker, not a jump, and Malf, he's got nothing much. Legacy, in theory, here should be the weak spot to be attacked. And for this reason, I think, like, yeah, Malf and Vala can get jumped on, and they can get deleted. But then there's also Junkrat on the side of Simplicity. He's an excellent bottom lane defender and really strong on this map. Like, he's broken on every map, and this is one of his best. So, yeah, there's definitely super strong tools on the side of Simplicity. Map-wise, I'd say Diamond Hands a little bit better. The level from Simplicity will probably make up for it.
Okay, all right. We'll have to see how things unfold on Dragonshire, as we do already have our objective phase up and available. For anyone that might be new to Heroes of Storm or might not, sit there and do cooldown counters and map counters, Dragonshire, Braxis, and, well, not a lot of us play it, but Blackheart's Bay have some of the shortest objective announcements at 1 minute and 30 seconds. Garden of Terror is at 2 minutes, but most maps are 3 minutes. You have the announcement at 2 minute 30 and the contest or the availability of an objective or a tribute like Curse Hollow up at 3 minutes. So this map a little bit earlier, but also very fast in the downtime. When the Dragon Knight falls, when it explodes, it ends. When that phase ends, that is when a new timer starts, and I believe it's another 1 minute 30 till we have another objective phase. So very quick objective phasing on this map if you can grab the Dragon Knight. And that's one thing, if anyone doesn't know and you're looking to maybe amplify your Storm League potential, learning those counters on these maps and even camp timers are very, very imperative. I feel like it's helped my games quite a bit, but let's talk about this game here, Grubby, as Phoenix might get dove, but no, he's got the help of quite a few friends. Legacy drops a root on the ground. Valimar with a bunch of punches pops the block totem. Huge jet propulsion to counteract the burrow in from Caesar Salad. Legacy 130-something HP, but the healers will trade out Malfurion for Karazim. A first kill on either side, but got Filth, Hungering Arrow, and that is a Vala to find a kill into a Phoenix.
Typical Phoenix, huh?
Dying,
this turns out to be what's supposed to be 1 or 2 kills for Diamond Hands, and Legacy hits some really big Moonfires. Malfurion has no burst heal except when enemies group up. For every Moonfire target that hits from a single Moonfire, you get that bonus heal on all regrowth targets. That's how he kept himself alive, and that forced Phoenix to dive deep. And then the 2 double counter kills by Simplicity. This was what I thought was going to be a lot of kills for Diamond Hands, but it turned against them. 2 for 1, slightly quicker level 7. Let's see what happens here. Simplicity, Hands has no escape, but he doesn't really need it. Look at Phoenix's damage into Blaze. It's almost nothing.
Almost nothing. 7 talent tiers achieved, and that is going to be the big as picked up for Mene on the Junkrat, which is a very good control talent. Speaking of control, Unaverted is kind of controlling this fight with the amount of damage he's dropping to Caesar Salad, but here comes the Burrow Charge, the counteractive damage, and Vala will go down. A little bit of revenge from Got Filth, but this is so much damage into Masquerade. Body blocked to Eternity. You know what, Grubby, that reminds me of? When I watched your Warcraft 3 streams and you body blocked the heck out of someone with all of your units. That's what that just looked like to me.
It does, and it's a lot harder in Heroes of the Storm because units have different sizes. In Warcraft 3, uses units either are big or small, and here there's many different collision sizes, so it is harder, but it is still possible. And we have seen Valamar do that a lot. He'll put his Earth ally behind Malfurion, dash to it, and then start body blocking. Definitely has a bit of that Warcraft 3 feeling.
And we're seeing that in the replay right there, as there was that body blocking with that block totem, but there's the counter kill into Phoenix. Just good play from Unaverted. And the one thing I will say about Unaverted, at least up until that point, Unaverted was playing fairly unencumbered. Like, there wasn't really a lot of dive, but now the dive seems to be focused onto this Vala legacy, is not able to do the healing that he's looking to kind of play from the back and let Vala poke from the front in a sense. And with 2 to 3 in kills, the members of Diamond Hands have a little bit of an experience lead, but I think we should see 10 talent tiers achieved for both sides almost simultaneously, as we haven't had a first objective phase just yet on the map. Masquerade is checking face into a Nubrak, anchoring for the friendly team. Good overall rotation so far, Grubby. The macro, the micro is looking good on both sides, but I feel like 10 talent tiers is really gonna start pushing this this first map in Simplicity or Diamond Hands' way.
Yeah, the objective can matter a lot, but it's also perfectly possible for it to be drawn out to level 12, 13, 14 before the first DK gets capped, when teams are really evenly matched. Well, let's see how it goes. We've got the Purification Salvo for Phoenix. Godfield actually has been doing really good. He's got the highest hero damage in the game. Shared with Vala. Okay, now he's the highest. And there's the 7-sided strike, but the Falling Sword for Janna to get away. What could be the 4th kill? Diamond Hands, Masquerade gets away, and it's 2 ults for 1. In comes an arrow, dodged.
I like the double back from Mene. Instead of just being like, oh, I'll walk into my gate and be safe and take the arrow damage, I'm just gonna drop down below my tower, no one should dive me, and I'll be safe. Just really like little mechanical things like that, and good reads coming out from Junkrat Mene so far. I thought there was going to be a potential loop around to flank into Junkrat, but speaking of looping around, they found on the side of Simplicity a dive into Rexar. Misha will fall as well. 20 seconds on the Hunter as Masquerade's getting chunked by Valamar really quickly on this Iron Fist Kerosene.
So far, it's been pretty cool to see Phoenix in action. He's got that reset talent, the level 7 Warp Warfare. If a takedown happens, he's allowed to teleport again, taking it from a cooldown of 17 seconds to nothing. He also has that quick movement speed and attack speed from the Warp Warfare level 4 talent Synergy. That is pretty cool indeed. Godfield is missed there by the Riptire, so shields will start regenerating. Kelsier drops low, but he's still eager to put out more damage. His scatter quest is completed.
Bit of a hybrid as well with Kelsier grabbing the explosive arrow at level 4 just to help out with some of the wave clear for the friendly team, so Phoenix isn't so focused or forced to be the one to prioritize that. Masquerade does have the Laws of Hope at level 1. For anyone wondering, the current activated heals 30% of the total health pool over 5 seconds. Root comes out from Malfurion, won't connect. Hanzo rips an arrow. Salvo out from Got Filth. Tickles the enemy team health bars, as we do have the Tranquility out from Malfurion. A very low Misha. Well, Misha's just anchoring some damage. She's actually not as low as I thought.
Get away.
Got Filth. Oh, I think there might have been cooldown on Warp, or it was a bait into Blaze for that Jet Propulsion. Good read, though, from Got Filth on the timing of that Warp.
Yeah, he wanted to check. First of all, he couldn't walk through the concussive. He was low, and he had no shields. And then he wanted to make sure he doesn't get interrupted on the warp. Maybe it just came back. Pretty cool escape indeed. Still though, Simplicity with the level lead. We do have the... Wait, can Kelsier get away? No, he's dead. Nice Rain of Vengeance there to secure the kill.
That's the kind of punishment I was expecting to see from Simplicity in this game, because Simplicity definitely, they are not afraid of diving underneath towers and trying to go for kills. We saw the same thing from WildHeart Esports into Chili Mountain in the previous best of 5 when WildHeart, that was a really good read from Masquerade with the Iron Skin.
Yeah, that was really fast.
WildHeart was diving, and granted this is a Medivh composition, so you expect it a little bit, but they were diving past towers, underneath keeps. They were just constantly putting pressure into the face of Chili Mountain, and that was what I was expecting of Simplicity, and I'm glad to be seeing it here once again, as Filth gets chunked to like 25% HP, but Cocoon forces Masquerade to utilize the Falling Sword to make sure Unaverted's out of the Cocoon.
It was pretty close, actually, for Johanna not to be able to make it out, but he has that Falling Sword. Same, likewise, for Godfilth. Johanna interrupted his warp immediately at the start of it. Had Vala been able to step up a bit more... Oh, Iron Skin keeps him alive, does it? No, oh! No, he's got 1,500 health.
Condemn pulls Caesar Salad back into the tower. Great jet propulsion from Blaze. Filth is going to lose their shielding on the Phoenix. Some danger pings below, and I think that might have been from the friendly side of Simplicity, warning, hey, there might be someone flanking into us. Don't play the lane too aggressive, as that Hanzo was kind of sneaking his way up. Speaking of, oh my god, hold on. This is going to be dive onto Fancy Pants, who does drop the bunker. Masquerade comes in with a Condemn, pulls just the Anubrak into all of this, does get the slow with the Condemn. Big damage onto the Anubrak, but the Hanzo almost counteracts the kill. Oh, it was so close from Kelsier, but not enough.
Yeah, three-man arrow hit, and Anubrak still goes down. That's bad news. He also still has Cocoon available. Yeah, not ideal there for Diamond Hands, and a nice pickup there for Simplicity.
We have a little bit of a lull time right now. Maybe we'll see a fight fairly soon. But I want to talk about the Anubrak talent, Grubby, because I want to pick your brain on this. You said you play a lot of Anubrak, and what's kind of the priority for you? Is it? I personally, like, I've just been going into Beetle build. That seems like it's the easiest for me. It's been working out the best. But is there more of a better way to build Anubrak? Is this level 7 subterranean shield like necessary, or is this more of a defensive thing to allow Anubrak to dive into such a bursty composition like Simplicity?
Yeah, so first of all, it's a hybrid build, right? Anubrak has a few different builds. You can go Carapace build, Beetle build, and some kind of Burrow Charge wacky build. Burrow Charge build used to be the meta. It no longer really is. It's very much on the engage, but it doesn't have a lot of utility in between. Beetle build has the wave clear, the little trickle damage, the body blocks, and it's just a good general all-purpose build. You go for it anytime you don't have a reason to do something else. Then there's the Carapace build. Non-stop movement speed increase, the highest spell armor you can get, and the most amount of shields you can get. I like Carapace build the best because you can do a lot of mistake correction, position correction, and baiting.
Okay.
However, what he has here is a hybrid. I can't say that I 100% get behind the level 1 Beetle talent, but the level 4 movement speed and then the shield on 7, that gives him a lot of utility in the first 3 seconds of a fight. If you look at the Carapace talent at level 7, this takes your cooldown from 7 seconds to up to 4 seconds for your shield. That gives you value at 4.01 seconds into a fight. So that level 7 talent does nothing in the first 4 seconds. Anubrak is a burst champion. So for him to have a shield on the Burrow Charge while also having move speed, that gives him more value in the first 4 seconds, and that is very highly prioritized in pro play.
The priority is coming into a Cocoon on the Vala, 7-sided strike on the Fancy Pants, who doesn't have the bunker down for a few more seconds. Salvo coming out. Hanzo rips the arrow, and that salvo will actually find a kill. Unaverted in the backline, now trying to get away, but is going to be shredded, and it's looking like Diamond Hands will find a double kill. Can they make it a triple kill? Masquerade getting very low, is not going to be able to make it through the front gate, and a triple kill goes over to Diamond Hands, and I expect a Dragonite to be over to our red team as well.
This was some insane plays by Godfilth, some insane value by Godfilth here on Phoenix and Kelsier on Hanzo. A huge arrow hitting up and basically confirming the kill. And because every takedown happens, Phoenix is like a pseudo Li Ming with reset after reset, which is going to give him attack speed, movement speed, and more teleports, which also happen to give him 50 armor every time for 4 seconds after that warp, after a takedown. So he truly is a mini Genji / Li Ming, but he's the auto attacker version of it. Genji being the kind of melee version, the diver, and Li Ming being the mage. He is the auto attacker Li Ming, and he had a lot of value there. His purification salvo led to a kill as well. It does the most damage when people are slowed, and Rexar can help with that, with the boars. So there's definitely draft synergy, and it's something we don't see a whole lot. Justin called this the playbook of Oxygen. using Carvatine to get kills all the time. And it looks like it even works when it's not being used by Oxygen. Just the fact that we get to level 18, 17 with Diamond Hands, who was rank 8 in the previous season, against Simplicity, who was rank 1, I think that's worthy of 3 seconds of consideration. That is pretty crazy.
That is a good point as well. We're looking at that replay from that triple kill that was won over by the side of Diamond Hands, and I was curious as to why Vala's positioning was so far into the backline, and there was a cocoon that couldn't be cleared out by the side of Simplicity, so Vala was kind of stranded in the enemy team's backline, and that allowed the members of Diamond Hands to find that triple kill, or at least the kill into Vala. The kill into Blaze was just a series of unfortunate events for the Blaze player not having that bunker, as he got dove in mid lane a few moments before the engagement popped off in bottom lane, but now Condemn pulls in this Anubrak, but a nice cleansing dash from level 16, cleansing touch, will be able to get Caesar Salad out of any sort of mass CC kill. Good play, good read from the side of Diamond Hands as they want to force some pressure through top lane.
Phoenix now solo laning, picking up XP mid, empowering the siege camp bottom. Feels greedy, like there was only 2 minions left. He's going to even push another wave. They're farming level 20. Feels a little greedy, but his team, of course, isn't taking any chances. No risks. Kelsier takes down one wall. They leave the other up. The rotation was revealed. Simplicity knows that there's going to be keep pressure with the siege camp, with every single hero here. Let's look at level 20s. Unconquered Spirit. Godfield playing it safe. We've got Kill Command, the root from the Boars. And Diamond Hands is looking to, I would say the average result is half damage on keep. At most, maybe 40 to 50% damage on keep is what they're looking for here. I'd be very surprised if they get a keep.
Nice utilization of the Misha on the right side of our screen, and Tori utilizing the bear to anchor and also scout out in the bush in case the side of Simplicity looks for some sort of, it's down a talent here, but if maybe they look for that Hail Mary flank fight in this bottom lane. It's not the case. Joanna was soaking up in the top lane, pushing up the hard camp or the bruiser camp as Unaverted and friends are just kind of waiting around, letting the tanks soak things up and look for that 20 talent here for an even fight. But we just got our announcement on the Dragonite to be popping up. This is our second Dragonite of the game, Grubby. Wow, that first one took a little bit of time to get here, but Misha immediately runs to the point. Yeah, mid lane. Hold on,
Joanna.
mid lane. Falling Sword Joanna, defensively used.
Okay, so what got you? 7-sided strike, 45-second cooldown. Falling Sword didn't get that many targets. It has insane CDR, almost to the point where you can cast it twice in a row if you hit a lot of different targets. But it's on a 20-second cooldown still, so not quite maxing out. But now that level 20 Janna has been reached, when played well, with the cooldown of Iron Skin being carefully managed, and always only falling sorting into an enemy team when you have it available, Johanna gets pretty crazy. But it's not back yet for 5 seconds. Bunker maybe trying to be that buffer to protect until the falling sword is back again. Here it is, falling sword! Trying to keep Vala alive, but it doesn't work. Diamond Hands actually manages against falling sword to get 1 kill, to get 2 kills. This should be it. For all intents and purposes, this should be the end of the game, where Diamond Hands wins the first.
Unconquered Spirit coming in for Got Filth right there with a sliver of HP. Joanna rushes back towards the keep defensively, getting the dismount, and this is Masquerade stepping in, trying to say, maybe I can finish my level 4 here. Unfortunately, the subdue won't be finished out, and here goes the keep in bottom lane. This is going to be the pressure in through Diamond Hands, and they are now going to be taking core. I am going to close my DM availability in Discord so I do not get any more DMs about my opinions on heroes, as this is our game number 1 going over to the side of Diamond Hands. They were itching Grubby. They were talking about how bad they wanted to win this game, and here they take game number 1 in our second best of 5 of the day and kick things off very, very well. I gotta be honest, like, the start of the map didn't look so good for Diamond Hands. There was a little bit of just kind of back and forth. Then the 10 talent tier comes through. Cocoon starts shutting down the Vala. The members of Simplicity can't get Vala out of the Cocoon. The Junkrat wasn't able to get the defensive tools out or even focus or push back the enemy team. This was just picked apart by the side of Diamond Hands. Am I right? Am I wrong, Justin? What do you think?
Yeah, you're definitely right. It seemed like Diamond Hands came to play. And also, the way that the map was won was not really in the way that I expected it to be won from the side of Diamond Hands. I thought that Diamond Hands draft was better for the map, but how the game was actually decided was just those 2 big team fights in the bot lane. So it's really interesting to me that even though they drafted a composition that's supposed to be more kind of individual focused, where you have things like Phoenix, who has the big shield so that he can kind of trade as like by himself without needing help, how like a Vala or a Junkrat does. It was weird that they didn't actually play their comp too much in that way. They didn't really go for picks too much. They just sort of forced the 5v5 bottom, which should be what Simplicity's comp is better at. And that's kind of worrisome for me for Simplicity going forward in the series. The fact that Diamond Hands was able to win against Simplicity, who drafted more of a 5v5 style composition, which I would say is a kind of a poor way to draft for the map. Diamond Hands, I think, had a better draft. They executed better than Simplicity, and even in where Simplicity should have a winning 5v5 in the team fight, they lost the fights pretty handedly, losing 4 members in that last fight. So honestly, kind of worried for Simplicity in the rest of the series. I think Diamond Hands kind of made about as big of a statement as they possibly could have in this game 1.
I'm looking at some of the stats from this past game, and I know stats aren't just the all be all. Like it's like this isn't just the fact of everything, but looking at the stats, John actually had the highest heroic damage for the side of Simplicity.
That's weird.
I mean, it's by like 1,700. Actually, it's literally by 1,700 on the dot. And then Legacy's healing was actually like 20,000 more than Kerosene. But we talk about this concept from time to time about effective healing, effective damage versus just damage done and healing done. And I think this is a really good example of it, where Diamond Hands, they had a lot of effective healing, a lot of effective damage. As we look at Caesar Salad, who in my opinion was one of the MVPs of this match, these constant burrow charges landing and the reset at level 20 with the rewind. I think Caesar Salad had just a fun game here. I think the whole team of Diamond Hands had a fun game. Hanzo got a little bullied a little bit here and there, but he had some amazing arrows, as you just saw. And here's that situation where Unaverted was in the cocoon for a little too long, did go down. That was that first bottom lane fight that really went over to the side of Diamond Hands, kind of starting this momentum to win game number 1 on Dragonshire. Grubby, what are your thoughts on just this first game? Do you think Diamond Hands have what it takes to just take the entire series 3-0, or is we haven't seen enough of Simplicity yet to make that call?
Yeah, I think everyone played really well. And, you know, I haven't seen much of the free agent tournament, so I wasn't sure how Kelsey is going to perform. No big mistakes that I could really tell of. Haven't been tested as much because his front line made so much space. I gotta admit, I was mostly looking at Godfilth, and his Phoenix play looked great. I'm a big Phoenix fan myself. I play him a lot. And, you know, I'm not just doing this to spite you.
No, I know, Grubby. I know, Grubby. You send us Phoenix videos, and I'm like, oh, we have to put out a Phoenix video now. Crap. All right. Look, all I got to say is I'm out here trying to do the work of the people. I have a purpose with me, you know, dogging on Phoenix. You just, you know, let's buff his heroics a little bit. How many times did Salvo get value in that game? Not really.
Ults aren't important. It's all about lasers, man. Pew, pew, pew. Just auto attack, switch attack mode, switch attack mode, switch attack mode, switch attack mode. That's how he played the whole game. W, 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 W. The ult is just like an afterthought.
Well, and he chose the wrong ultimate, too. He should have gotten the laser beam.
We have a whole season of this.
I think the only hey, I never say anything when you talk about Cho'Gall. Almost never.
Fair.
I think if you trade Purification Salvo and you get a Tranquility out of it, that's a big win, because you just threw a dime in the well, and like that you didn't care about. You just made a wish, like, oh, I hope he uses Tranquility, and he does.
Or I mean, Johanna B.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong by these means at all. And I don't want to take away, because Gottfilth did have a very, very good game on Phoenix. I do have to give credit where credit is due. But we might have our next map ready to go here in just a second. Let's find out where we're going to for our second map and our second best of 5. And ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into Battlefield of Eternity. This is going to be the map pick of Diamond Hands, as the Simplicity crew have opted in for first pick priority as the losing side. Battlefield, I absolutely love this map. I think it's insanely fun. And I wonder, I hate myself for asking this question, but you know what? We got to talk about it. Do you think that Diamond Hands could pick up another Phoenix for this map? Do you think it is a Phoenix map, or is it one of those things where, like, okay, it was niche on Dragonshire, let's focus on Immortal Race and team fighting with Greymane, Vala, Lunara sort of deal?
I've never taken Phoenix here willingly. There's too many people draft displacement like Garrosh and Yrel.
Okay.
to put you into the Immortal stun. There's way too many warp interrupts, and Phoenix doesn't love getting flanked, which happens a lot. This map, you need to think 360 fights, 360 degrees. They can come from any side. There's going to be flanking. I don't think Phoenix wants that. His warp takes too long, and his damage on the Immortal is lackluster. Most of his abilities interact with PvP.
Okay. So we can expect things, more Phoenix priority on bigger map. Maybe like Infernal Shrines, we could see a Phoenix or something like that to be able to wave clear a little bit more and be able to move in and out of the shrines. But we have Battlefield of Eternity coming up next in just a moment once we get all of our players into lobby. And looking at the side of Diamond Hands, Justin, what would you consider their draft to be after looking at that first game? Could they basically draft the same thing, maybe swap out the Phoenix for something else, a little more race potential, or burst ability mage?
I could see them maybe keeping with the Rexar, the Monk, and possibly the Anubarak. Those ones I could still see being played. I mean, the Hanzo too. Mostly just no Phoenix, actually, now that I say it out loud like that. I don't think there'll be a Phoenix on this map. I think that's really Dragonshire specific. Their comp on Dragonshire, though, they did pick the map, and they did seem like they knew exactly what they wanted and got exactly what they wanted. So it really seems like Diamond Hands has came to play. So I'm expecting that they have a more catered strategy for BoE as well. It seems like whoever's drafting for them has put in the work and knows what they want. We'll see in this game, I guess, if Simplicity put in the work as well, because their last draft wasn't really like a Dragonshire-esque comp. So I would say that they were a little bit worse off in the last game. So the way that the drafts go, I think I'm expecting Diamond Hands to kind of take it. Honestly, like, I'm pretty impressed with Diamond Hands from the first game, just draft and everything. So we'll see. But I'm expecting them to draft just more like, I don't know, Battlefield of Eternity type stuff. Maybe some Lunara with the Wisp or the Vision. No Phoenix, but the rest could still be there for sure.
That is actually, you raised a really good point, and if we are able to interview Diamond Hands at the end of this series, I'd be very curious to find out who their drafter is. Right now, we see the crown on Got Filth, but this could be, a team sort of draft. I'd just be curious to find out the dynamic of how they draft and look at these maps, because it's always an interesting part that we really don't get as much insight into typically on the casting side of things, because teams typically don't want to reveal all that information. But maybe we can ask them if they win the series. But we're into our second draft and our second best of 5, and it's a Junkrat ban and a Dahaka ban. Stukov not making his way into this one, and Grubby. When you play this map, what do you like to play? I'm just curious. While we're waiting for the bans to come through in our first picks, what do you like to Li Ming? Okay, I was thinking about that as well. Oh, are you serious?
Li Ming Glass Cannon every game. Like, I'm winning like 90% plus when people let me. Like, when there's no other mage on the team, I just pick Li Ming Glass Cannon, and then the Magic Missile 5 times at level 16.
Yeah, the mirror ball.
Even when your team loses, you just stand in a bush, you wait till someone walks up. Oh, Disintegrate, very important too. Glass Cannon, Magic Missile build at level 7 and 16, and then Glass Cannon. In Storm League, you don't really get punished. Like, here, I think there's going to be a Murden on you, a Urel blocking your orbs, but they always forget about you when you stay back. So that's like my 90+% win rate tactic on this map when they let me. Is that going to be a thing here? We haven't seen this much Li Ming. In HGC days, 2017-18, Ming was super big here, as was Tyrael, Greymane, Genji. Not so much anymore.
This is weird. This is weird by Simplicity. I kind of am really worried for them with them first picking Brightwing, considering that Brightwing went completely unpicked in the last draft on Dragonshire, which is arguably Brightwing's best map. To first pick it here on Battlefield seems like they're sort of, I don't know. It seems like they're sort of lost in the draft right now. I do like Hogger Maya.
Comfort picking?
It may be. It's just weird that they would pick Mouth on Dragonshire and then ignore Brightwing and then first pick it here. So it feels like they're almost like compensating for the last games. Like, oh, we should have picked Brightwing, so now they're kind of like first picking it. It sort of seems like there's maybe there's some like mental games going on in their own heads right now. Like, they're maybe a little bit flustered after that first loss. I don't think they really expected to be losing in the series.
You might be on a perfect point right there, Justin, because I would we all know Legacy from the previous season. His Brightwing was out of this world, and maybe it's Simplicity trying to flex a little bit, being like, oh, it's just Diamond Hands. They were 8th seed at the end of last season. We can try a few things here, and they won't be able to kill us. And it's like, oh, They did. So maybe we bring out that main tank Maiev sort of deal, and we get Brightwing, and we go back to those things that we know we're comfortable, we know we can succeed with, and maybe it's just that it's trying to make sure that they build a composition that they're comfortable and they feel they can succeed into the side of Diamond Hands with. But getting through these bans, I like that we do have a respect ban onto Caesar Salad's Anubarak.
Yeah, he played it really nicely, and he reinvigorated Anubarak for me personally. Seeing that level 7 shield talent, it makes so much sense when I saw it. Def gonna copy. In the meantime, Anduin and Muradin coming in. We saw some cool Anduin Muradin play earlier on in this map by, of course, WildHeart. Light Bomb with Dwarf Toss and then Stormbolt. Really legit. And he's got that Sledgehammer to help race. Diamond Hands is off to a very good start. They've got Lunara. We've seen her once earlier today, but she was paired with no CC, literally. Now, she has all the CC in the world, so she can soften people up while they're distracted by Blaze and Muradin.
This is okay. I kind of changed my mind about Simplicity's draft. I kind of do like it now. The first pick Brightwing is a little weird, but getting Hogger, Maiev hasn't really been prioritized at all so far, which I find really, really strange. I would assume that she would be higher priority than she was in the previous series. Maybe both those teams just haven't really been playing with her much, but their comp, Simplicity's comp is very, very scary. I really, really like that a lot. And Unaverted playing Maiev, that's something that I know that he plays fairly well. I'm assuming he'll be the one playing that. Having Mene on something that he can actually carry on more. Junkrat's not really the most like flashy of heroes, so having him on Hanzo I think might be good for him. And the Malthael, that's very weird to me. That kind of says like we weren't really prepared for this Diablo pick, and so it's sort of like a, I don't know. I think that's kind of weird by Diamond Hands.
It is weird.
Malthael.
Why no Tychus? Because he's too short range into Maiev?
That's probably what they're thinking is, yeah, they don't want to play Tychus into the Maiev because they're really aggressive, and Hogger as well. There's just too many bodies maybe for Tychus to give value, they might think. Because Simplicity is really dive heavy, so there is that going for the Malthael. And Malthael's pretty good on this map, but the triple melee heavy style composition coming out from Diamond Hands, I'm not a big fan of into Simplicity's draft. I really prefer Simplicity here.
Alrighty, well, I'm honestly struggling a little bit to try and figure out which team I would lean into as well, and I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna go for Diamond Hands. I think the Malthael could be a little weird, but it definitely is. I feel like it is going to be very strong in the hands of Diamond Hands. And Justin, thank you as always for the breakdown, the analysis. We'll see you after Battlefield of Eternity as we are loaded on in, and we have got the members of Simplicity in the blue. Pants is on the Hogger, Unaverted on the Maiev, Mene playing the Hanzo, Legacy on the Brightwing, and Masquerade rounds out the team on Diablo. Over in the red, we're looking at Diamond Hands, who are looking to up their advantage, or at least up their score in this series. Through Battlefield of Eternity, we got Filth on the Blaze, Caesar Salad on the Muradin, Kelsier on the Lunara, Nintori on the Malthael, and Valimar to play the Anduin. Like Grubby, I'm struggling in this one, but I feel like I'm gonna call a Diamond Hands win. I don't know why. Just after that last game, I'm a little afraid of just the synergy on the side of Simplicity. I feel like Diamond Hands, they just played every single team fight so very well with just being able to single target call, as well as just like dive in and just blow up the Vala consistently. And we'll have to try and get into some comms at some point in this map to hear in how they're actually communicating these fights. But what do you think about these drafts? We didn't get to hear enough about your thoughts.
Yeah, I think Simplicity draft looks a little better. I'm very impressed with Maiev's buffs and how strong she is now. What's funny is about her Vault of the Wardens, it turns her unstoppable and invincible, but it doesn't stop her from absorbing skill shots. You can still attack her, cast spells can hit and miss on her. It's different from, well, I guess not existing. She exists still, she absorbs shots, that's interesting. So it's, yeah, I don't know, like, I just wanted to point that out because I'm thinking, like, are there other heroes that are different? No, I guess everyone is like that, actually. Like, Falstad can still be auto-attacked while he's in flight. Yeah, it's interesting. So let's talk about the special pick, Malthael. He gets a self-cleanse at level 13, and that's the goal here, maybe, to keep him alive. Oh, this is very risky for actually Nintori to do, because Brightwing could go top. But he also knows that his team is simultaneously pressuring bot, even if it did go into the advantage of Simplicity. Yeah, I think Sim, a little bit stronger here into this composition. But Diamond Hands really impressed in the first game, so anything is possible.
that's the thing I'm getting a little hung up on as well. Is just like, all right, you know, Simplicity, they got a really strong, fun, explosive draft that just scales throughout this game. But Diamond Hands, they played that last map so very well. Umbra Bind will connect. There's a lot of damage going into Lunara, but Caesar Salad, split from the friendly team, is able to back away. Regeneration Globe over to his side. Vault of the Warden is going to be coming through. From Unaverted, there was a phase shift from Legacy. Legacy was so much damage over time applied, and that'll be a kill over to the side of Diamond Hands. Unaverted should fall. Kelsier, though, will be traded out. No! The Leap of Faith was perfectly played, and Mene will die to damage over time. Triple kill to the side of Diamond Hands.
Mene just got poisoned to death, or as they would say in French, poisson. He got fished by Lunara. And that was really impressive. We got the first 3 kills here for Diamond Hands. And yeah, really, really nicely done. They had the tools to pull some people away from IF. I think Anduin is a key pick here.
Yep.
And I'm really surprised by his level 1 pick. Even-handed Blessings is more mana and health sustain. But the Shield Radiance talent, that one is more burst protect. I thought that's what you want here into Maiev Diablo, but he's gone for this. Well, so far, it has served him right. Maybe he sees the fights differently than I do. Of course he does. He's Valamar. He's on a pro team. And that's what I like to see. Really nice opening start here for Diamond Hands. Now let's see how they get on in the objective.
We have our first objective phase up and available for contest as Muradin's going to be thrown around a little bit, unaverted, just poking out with a few fan and knives here and there. Spirit of Vengeance forward, and keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you see if you see Maiev constantly blinking into the enemy team, she does have that sudden vengeance at level 4, which is a 6% burst damage into enemy heroes, or 6% of their maximum health that she does burst into. So keep that in mind. If you do see this Maiev playing aggressive, that is the reason she's using that Spirit of Vengeance in that manner. But the objective phase goes to the race potential sides. Diablo a little split, and Tori trying to get some decent percent-based damage into Masquerade's health pool. There's a drag onto Valamar. Valamar just trying to back away, throws out some healing. Kelsier trying to help out as Unaverted is diving around, and Tori is going to be able to blink past, and so much back and forth around each other, but Diamond Hands kind of come out on top as they will have the objective phase, and they don't lose a single member during that little scuffle.
Really, really impressive play here by Diamond Hands, and you love to see it. The Team 8, rank 8 from last season, the Dark Horse into the rank 1, and of course there have been some roster shuffles. I was worried that the team got weaker, losing Aki on the off lane. But they look really strong so far with their new additions.
Here comes Bella through bottom lane. Masquerade looking to try and find some sort of overpower over the gate, but the gate is falling. Stormbolt from Muradin. Chain CC from the side of Diamond Hands into Masquerade. He's just way too tanky, though. This Diablo with the Firestomp build is looking just comfortable in this engagement, though Unaverted's health bar sitting fairly low. If the members of Diamond Hands can step past this fort, they could look and find a kill into this Maiev. But it's not the case, and it seems like Belith will chunk the fort down to 25% HP. Malthael goes back into top lane, and we're back into our soak until level 10.
Now we don't have a full quest yet from Hanzo, so Mene is doing a little bit less damage than he could. Every scatter has the potential to do 50% more damage when he has that complete, by having 6 arrows bounce into someone next to a wall instead of 4. So, a pretty important quest, both for the race and for the fight. Masquerade there tried a cool move. He shadow charged on a minion. You then push it back, which gains you bonus distance. If you shadow charge on a hero, people are pretty much aware of that range. But shadow charge on a minion, you can charge past someone and then just use the overpower on them. This creates a near out of vision experience for your opponent that can be really unexpected. A key kit for Diablo users to use, and Masquerade tried it really nicely. But Muradin, Caesar Salad, he was aware of it and he got away.
And talent here, a half a level away for Diamond Hands as Masquerade does finish out his Soulstonist trait. The bottom lane fort does fall in favor for Diamond Hands. Meanwhile, in top lane, Malthael was pushing into the Hogger. He got hit up a little bit, or chunked a little bit, and was forced to tap well. Malthael to do the exact same thing, I do believe. The Immortal phase spawns here, and Grubby, do you think now's the time that we jump into those Diamond Hand comms?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
In we go.
We're gonna be 10 on them.
We're
10 on them.
Actually, okay, no.
Look at Diablo here. Keep jumping.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I already stormbolted. Oh yeah, we can. Diablo. Stun in one, stun in one.
It's good.
I'm
I think we
still-
backed it.
I
Okay, okay.
thought I
Take on
said
Diablo.
yeah. Sick. I have
Bunker's
bunker.
dead, bunker's
Still Diablo, still Diablo.
Yeah, the
Nice,
Alright,
nice.
I race.
Yeah, we can
I'm
all
gonna
race.
I'm gonna get wave. You can hit.
One can prep bruiser maybe.
Natari goes then when we're pursuing the half.
We need his flash strikes on Immortal.
They might be able to fight us.
We should play a little slow. They have
I'm
ult.
getting
Yeah,
wave.
we play
I want to go.
The execution from Diamond Hands. I'm glad we got to get in there because you could hear the shot calling in that team fight, and those are some really nice calls in just the chaos that was ensuing.
Yeah, it's interesting because they were like, still Diablo, and he was low, and they definitely wanted to confirm the kill. But at the very same time, various members on Diamond Hands also targeted down other members of Simplicity. So despite the very concentrated focus on Diablo in the comms, everyone was at the presence of mind to kill those that they thought is a good kill to make, and Diablo still went down. Worked out well.
I absolutely agree. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, Diablo is our goal, but if you can see other stuff, go for that. And then just the reminder, but here comes an Apocalypse and the arrow, Leap of Faith from Valimar to save Nintori. There's a lot of stuff on the ground from this Hogger. There's a Warden's Cage from Maiev. Bunker comes down from the Blaze, Polymorph through from this Brightwing, and Bunker is going to delay things out, and it looks like this objective phase, or excuse me, this team fight goes over to the side of Diamond Hands. Objective phase not over just yet. We're at the 50% mark, so the Immortals will not move again. These Immortals are on the defensive positioning. We have Belith on the right and Alarian on the left, but Nintori split from the team. There's a light bomb. Oh my god, I thought Fancy Pants was the one who was going to be able to get a kill, but it's Fancy Pants who takes a ton of damage. Lacerates comes out, and that's going to be a kill onto Maiev. Masquerade, no souls, or at least 19 right now, is going to go down. Another triple kill. Make it a quadra kill over to the side of Diamond Hands, who are holding strong in game number 2.
Very cool build by Nintori. He's gone for the Wraith Strike, or is it Wrath Strike?
I believe Wraith?
Wraith Strike build by Malthael, and which at level 16 does 8% max health damage into an area, actually, because of the way he spec'd it. He's got bonus range, it's in an area, and it's 8%. And then he combined that with Lost Rites, which there is some synergy with Tormented. It actually gives you 2 W resets for Wraith Strike. But like this, it's a lot of burst. And he even took the new level 4 Throwing Shade talent that does another 2% max health. So he can do a lot of percentage damage. He's the answer for Diablo. I was worried whether it was going to be enough. And the answer is yes, it is. And Valimar has been very key as well with his Leap of Faith. LCA is doing the damage. Here's another combo. It only hits Blaze. Doesn't seem that scary. Pants is going in, trying to get some damage on the backline with his Hortipult. It's burning. It's burning Lunara.
It's not burning enough, as there is no kill just yet. Polymorph, Light Bomb, so much onto Caesar Salad, who pops the Avatar Farm, is able to utilize the Dwarf Toss to get away. Belith, who's currently hitting for 666 standard damage, double that into structures, almost finds the keep in the top lane. And I have to say, while things looked a little shaky and scary on the Diamond Hand side, that was an amazing play. But as we look back at our Immortal phase, this is what really started this huge push through top lane. The kill into Hogger, the follow-up into the Maiev Masquerade, who will fall on that Diablo to Nintori, then the split onto Legacy, who was just a sliver of HP but died to the damage over time of Lunara. So well layered and played from the side of Diamond Hands.
Masquerade going in there. Will he get punished for it? It's a Shadow Charge without any follow-up possibility. It looks like he will be punished for it. Brightwing is going in. If Light Bomb is around, no, it's not. 8 seconds. He's going to survive for now. He gets the Spell Armor from Legacy to cleanse as well. That's pretty much all the defensive tools that Brightwing has. It's just Trickle Heals now. For some inexplicable reason, Simplicity is chasing, but it works out. They get a kill with Dragon Arrow. Mena confirms the kill in a fight that, my God, the tables are turned against you. 12 levels versus 15, and you get a kill. That's very impressive, knowing like, hey, Light Bomb may not be out yet, Leap of Faith may not be out yet, and that creates a little bit of space. But here's the problem. There are no hobbies on the map. No objectives to steal. No camps to steal. And in the next 20 seconds, Simplicity did nothing. They don't even feel like they can go and rush Blaze in the top lane or Muradin in the bot. They're trying to set creative traps. But the map is small. Even the most creative traps are childishly predictable. And now the Bruiser camp comes out at the perfect time for Diamond Hands, who gave away no advantage. And despite a little hitch in the road, they're still riding their monster truck to victory.
Just slamming their way through car after car. The Gravediggers just upending a lot of enemy heroes. I think that works, sure.
Gravedigger?
Gravedigger is a very famous American monster truck that if you ever heard like the Sunday, it's usually Gravedigger. But what is going to be happening on the map right now is Masquerade getting chunked and the last rates come through. But Anduin is going to fall to the Maiev, so we trade out a healer for a tank. Malthael continues to step in. No last rites. Legacy with no HP. And Kelsier confirms the kill. But did Kelsier step too far out? Yes, the scatter arrow will confirm the kill. That's going to be a kill into Maiev. Mene trying to back away. Caesar Salad, do you have a Stormbolt? Doesn't go for it. Instead, looking to go back for the Immortal Race. Maybe some wave clear through bottom lane, but it seems like Alarian Burn is the priority from Diamond Hands.
It was a firefight. And Simplicity has a small disadvantage there. Diamond Hands gets 100% Immortal, and I think that's it. Like, I think you take this Immortal to go for the core normally. There is a very small likelihood, there's a very small possibility that Simplicity gets their 16 and holds, that Hanzo gets some good arrows. But I think the way you play this as Diamond Hands, and I think they're waiting for their heroes to come back, right? I think the way you play this is, if you can pressure the Hanzo, there is no damage on the Immortal. Like, he's the only one. And that's also the weakness of Simplicity's draft. We were so focused on the power of Maiev to get pickoffs. The front line is strong for Diamond Hands. Anduin is there. Oh, sorry, there's a replay playing. Cool.
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, we're able to just look back at that engagement and just kind of look over things. Arrow from Hanzo will not connect as it just flies north on our map. We do have a camp pushing in the top lane. Belith is in bottom lane, and Mene is down there, and the absolute destruction of that Hogger last rites leaping strike. I think there was a light bomb in there as well. No, light bomb's off cooldown, so I misread that one, but still, just so much pressure. Oh, no, there's the light bomb into Masquerade. A jet propulsion from Blaze will connect as well. There's a Warden's Cage from Maiev. Apocalypse used by Masquerade, trying to slow down the enemy team. Caesar Salad pops the Avatar form, gets the Dwarf Toss out. Some healing from Anduin does come through, but here's the big thing to discuss. While this is happening in the top of our map and the members of Simplicity just get 16 talent here, Belith is pushing in through that bottom lane, knocking on that keep front door.
Yeah. Hanzo has been relatively lucky that he wasn't pressured, but now let's see how the value of his scatters are. Look at Caesar Salad, jumps on him right away. Manning jumps to the other side, gets Stormboats, autos, and so on into the Immortal. At this point, they're like, hey, that keep is dead for sure. Doesn't matter how far it goes, core is not going to get hurt, so let's try to get a few kills. This is the last chance. This was the last chance to get some kills. Hogger not willing to let it go.
Oh, no!
Intoried there, sadly, he was hoping the arrow would hit. I think he actually pressed Ortopod before arrow confirmed to hit or miss.
Yeah.
Unaverted doing a lot of damage in the backline. They actually get the kill on Murden. Unaverted still alive. This is very impressive management by Simplicity. Down 4-on-5, arrow miss, still get a kill. And now it's time to keep going. There is a hobby here. There is a yellow camp. Simplicity must keep pushing. They're like 5% chance on the map in terms of macro. They're 5 versus 95 ratioed. And therefore, they will take even the worst fights right now. Even if you have 20% chance to win a fight, you still push forward as Simplicity, because it's better odds than just dying in the grave.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You got to do something here. You have to try and play off the slight momentum you've gained on the side of Simplicity, and they will do that. Hogger dealing with the top lane. I was looking at the catapult damage. Standard catapult damage right at this moment is 285 into structures. That's 570 damage, and those catapults, they can quickly shred through that core shielding and core HP. So Hogger proxying that wave, pushing things back. As we do have Murden back in the mix. No announcement of our Immortal phase, but it should be fairly soon, and that probably will be the window where Diamond Hands gets their 20 talents here. But I think Simplicity, they want to try and fight before that 20 arrives. Is it possible, Grubby?
Well, they want it, but it is... I mean, this is like a standard move, right? Like to want to fight pre-20. Therefore, it is so obvious to Diamond Hands that they would want to do that. They start their Bruiser because this is usually a good place to fight. They're very willing to disengage, and they are disengaging. Leaping Strike pull mid-air. You see how safe Diamond Hands is playing this, and all of this is part of a defensive position that's okay to defend, And I don't know about this. I guess they want to close the net before they get level 20. They've got just a few seconds to bridge. Diamond Hands taking a bit of a risk, but they know both lanes are pushed. We still got tools, we got Avatar, we got Bunker. Let's go. We now have our level 20s. Quick pick, 2, 3, 4 picks.
Here come the level 20s for the side of Diamond Hands. There's a very low Diablo on the left side of our screen. Light Bomb comes through from the Anduin, but the vigorous Volt from the Maiev saves her for now. Unaverted is going to fall. Diablo falls. That's reset onto Souls, so he's got a 2-second death timer right now. But the Immortal phase, they don't care about this right now on the side of Diamond Hands. They want more kills. That's going to be, in essence, a pentakill over to the side of Diamond Hands with Diablo back with his Souls to revive him. Murd and Dwarf tosses in, looking for the kill. They want to take this game, and they want to dominate the enemy team. Diamond Hands will take map number 2, upsetting what a lot of people were expecting, a Simplicity weekend, but this is looking like it is going to be Diamond Hands taking game 2, building that momentum in our best of 5 series to close things out in a 3-0, but they still have one more hill to climb. They got another map after this one. GG over to the side of Diamond Hands.
Very strong debut from Kelsier in the CCL. The new players, the new acquisitions doing great. These are people that have practiced in Storm League and that have practiced maybe in some other smaller leagues, that have scrimmed together, that have maybe sometimes substituted, but not yet on a stage like the CCL. So it's super cool to see that CCL offered them a way to grow into the pro scene with the drafts, with the redrafts, with teams sometimes dropping players. There is a clear path to glory, and Kelsier is feeling that right now. But the work isn't done yet. They're at a 2-0 lead. Diamond Hands, everything could still fall like a house of cards if Simplicity rallies and channels some of that experience that they displayed in the previous 2 seasons.
We got Justin back on the line, and I have to get your thoughts on this map. And I'm curious, as you watch that Malfield, did it make more and more sense, or are you still sitting there like, man, that was just, they just got outplayed on the side of Simplicity? What's your thoughts and breakdown as you have brought on the extra co-caster for Season 3 of HeroesCCL?
Yes, this is Springy. She's a big fan of WildHeart, I think, because she was kind of going crazy in the first series. She was knocking boxes over and stuff. So she's this is my cat. Anyways, about the game, I think I really would have liked to have seen Masquerade take Fire Breath, because it felt like they really lacked damage. They didn't really have, they had the Maiev Cage, but they didn't really have any like meaningful follow-up for it, and it felt like they were kind of all in on Hanzo Arrow into APOC into Hortipult for a one-shot, but the execution was just definitely not there for Simplicity. And this game, I think I kind of made the realization that, well, although they are Simplicity, they're maybe not, the name is not, you know, it's not all that, right? They're not Simplicity of last season. It's a very different roster, and it seems like they're just getting outplayed pretty much on every front in this series so far.
When we look at, you know, we're looking back at a few of the replays from the game, and we can discuss a few of these moments within the team fights. Do you feel like Diamond Hands had the upper hand? I want to actually ask both of you about this, and I'll start with Grubby. Do you feel like Diamond Hands consistently had the upper hand in these team fights, or was it just the micro from Diamond Hands that outplayed Simplicity? I'm very curious to get your thoughts as to, you know, how was this so well played from the Diamond Hands side into Simplicity?
Yeah, Diamond Hands looks like a team, and Simplicity looks like 5 players right now. And it's early on in the season. We also have older players and younger players on Simplicity. We've got the old guard in Mene. We know his potential is there. Of course, there's always the question, were people just worse back then than now? Did people get better? I don't think that's probably true. Like, it was kind of a collapse of a civilization, and people are learning how to play the game again, and people learned really well, and they got a lot better. But I still remember the level of play then as well. I do think Mene has proved that he has that. But there's also the fact, like, okay, the other players on this team, they weren't necessarily there. So, like, how are their visions of the game matching? Both Mene and SMX are, they've lost all of their maps so far, right? Like, they're 0-5. HCC Old Guard 0-5 at the moment. And it is also normal for them. We need to give them the space also to practice and get back into it. And then there's the synergy aspect that I cannot possibly judge, because we're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes. And it's not just Mene that lost or something, right? Diamond Hands played really well. And Yeah, I think we don't judge too much by the first play day, but at the same time, props to Diamond Hands.
I absolutely agree. Justin, I still want to get your quick thoughts on this. Do you think it's just it's Diamond Hands just showing up with kind of every answer? They just have the key to the test, if you will.
Yeah, I agree with basically everything Grubby said. It's no one player, no matter how strong they are. Like SMX and Mene are both great players, but one player alone isn't going to be enough to make that difference. You know, Heroes of the Storm is such a team-based game, and the team that plays better together, 5 players that might individually be a little bit worse are going to play, if they play better together, if they have that synergy, will just decimate a team of 5 players who maybe are individually stronger but don't have any teamwork at all. So, and that's sort of what it seemed like we saw here. Diamond Hands just outplayed Simplicity basically on every front, and yeah, I mean, Diamond Hands does have a little bit more synergy actually, because they are mostly a team from the NGS. So they've played together a little bit longer than this Simplicity roster has, so it's kind of to be expected, I guess, in that sense, but kind of weird still to see Simplicity getting, I mean, kind of obliterated by Diamond Hands.
Well, we'll see if the members of Diamond Hands can do a little Thanos snap and close things out in a 3-0 fashion in our next map. But as always, before we get into this next map, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to let these players stretch their legs, get a cup of coffee, and get ready for our third map. Really quickly in the break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool to check out the Matcherino. And if you'd like to support HeroesCCL, it's always very much appreciated. I've been watching that counter go up throughout today, and I think somewhere in the range of over $400 has been donated today. So thank you, everyone, for supporting HeroesCCL. And as I said, if you'd like to check out the Matcherino, and if you'd like to donate towards the prize pool, ! prize pool. We're going to take a short little break. We're going to be back with that third map of HeroesCCL. And will the members of Diamond Hands hold strong, take a 3-0, or will Simplicity rally and take us through that reverse sweep? We'll have to find out here on HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justin. And Grubby, I gotta ask you, how cool is CCL?
Very fucking cool.
Grubby! Well, you're allowed to do one. You're allowed to do one before you rate it R.
Okay.
Welcome back to HeroesCCL, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our kickoff weekend for HeroesCCL Season 3. We are in our second best of 5 of the day, and things might actually go over to Diamond Hands. I saw the tweet earlier about, how they were gonna take down Simplicity, and everyone was kind of joking like, oh yeah, sure, Diamond Hands, but now everyone's like, maybe Diamond Hands, they figured something out, and this could be a 3-0. Were you expecting this, Justin?
No, I definitely wasn't expecting this. I don't
you're
think.
Muted.
Oh, whoops. My bad.
No
Sorry
worries.
No, I definitely wasn't expecting this. I think most people were probably expecting Simplicity to be the stronger team just on paper, just looking at the names, but turns out the names of the teams, that's not the full story here. It's not the same Simplicity from last season, and this isn't the same Diamond Hands from last season either.
True.
So now after seeing these 2 games, I'm expecting this to be a 3-0. The Diamond Hands are looking just really incredible right now compared to my expectations, so yeah, expecting another just dominant win. If not, this could be where the reverse sweep comes in, but Simplicity's really going to have to, figure some things out if they want to do that.
If we were to look at the portfolio of Diamond Hands, they'd be all gains at this point, but let's find out where we're going to head to for map number 3 in the second best of 5 of the day. It is going to be the map choice of Diamond Hands, since Simplicity, the losing side, opted for first pick priority. Diamond Hands has chosen to take us to the classic, the tried and true Infernal Shrines. And for anyone that's wondering, some background bans and stuff, the initial coin flip was won by Simplicity, opting for first pick priority and banning out Sky Temple, with Diamond Hands getting rid of Tomb of the Spider Queen. So as we get ready for Infernal Shrines, what do you expect from the Simplicity side here, Grubby? Is it going to be this dive-heavy composition, or do you think they might be going to control and play the objective phase slow, try and win out the objective phase, and then push as a core 5? Because their core 5 team fights looked the most promising out of anything I saw in the last 2 games, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's a fork in the road here. It depends on if you're going for the immediate satisfaction and gratification, or if you're going for the long term. Okay. Hanzo and Junkrat, good for the long term. And for the immediate, I wonder if it would be good to put not Kel'Thas. I'm thinking of Kel'Thas because I'm thinking of Mena. To like go back to everyone's comfort picks. You know, if you've learned heroes in the last 2 years in the competitive scene, you're familiar with Hanzo and Junkrat's strength because they're safe and they fire from far. But years ago, it was Genji, it was Tracer, it was even Kel'Thas, it was Li Ming and Gul'dan. And we don't see much Kel'Thas and Gul'dan anymore, which is interesting. You know, Mena was a mage specialist, and there isn't as much call for that anymore. It's about the long-range auto-attacker hybrid type of heroes, like Lunara, Hanzo, Junkrat. So he used to love to burst people with good accuracy, timing, and safe positioning. And while he has been safe, he hasn't been as impactful as maybe he could. Now, that can be a frontline issue as well. You know, it can be a control issue, a support issue. Justin already pointed out at the weirdness of electing Malfurion on Dragonshire and then Brightwing on Battlefield of Eternity, which seems like opposite world. So Simplicity needs to somehow play the good heroes on the good map. And in the end, that's a draft in a nutshell, isn't it? I don't know that you can really simplify it, no pun intended, to just do this or just do that. It's just got to be good. It's a cohesive whole, and this is a good start. Stukov.
Stukov for Legacy on the side of Simplicity, but I want to get Justin's thoughts on this as well. What do you expect from the Simplicity side? Or even, I can throw it to, the Diamond Hand side. They've been dominant in this best of 5 series.
I'd like to see a team, so they're opting in for the globals here, which is really interesting on a map like Infernal Shrines, where you're very often just fighting on the objective. There's not, it's very difficult, as we saw in our series earlier, to actually get value by splitting on this map. The objective is really strong, and depending on which one you get early on, it can snowball really hard if you get a Frozen Punisher, for example. So that's a little bit strange, but that also just means that maybe they're so confident in their 5v5 team fight that they don't necessarily need to draft for that. They're just going to draft for kind of the anti-cheese, which might be maybe what they're thinking is that, the Simplicity of old kind of, they were sort of known for playing the map and just sort of, cheesing, if you will, kind of like in macro, just pushing gates and pushing walls and kind of like creating chaos, which was just really annoying to play against. They wouldn't let you 5v5 them. So that might be sort of what they're thinking here, is Diamond Hands is so confident that they can win a 5v5 with globals. That being said, Diablo is still available, but there's Tychus on the side of Simplicity. I would really like to see, with what Grubby hinted at, the Mene playing Gul'dan. That would be something that I would really like to see. That is something that Mene can carry on. He can hit a 5-man Horrify and they can win a team fight, that can win the game potentially. So if he's in a position where he feels like he needs to carry, I would like to see him on a hero like Gul'dan or something that he can really carry with.
I absolutely agree. When Grubby mentioned Gul'dan earlier, I think this is one of his best maps, in my opinion, with the rotations quickly. If you go Chaotic Energy at level 1, the Drain build, you can get those 15 regeneration globes extremely fast, maybe even before the first objective phase. But this is a Leoric and a Johanna. This is a very, very strong composition from Diamond Hands. And I kind of feel like the Johanna was a little bit of a steal from Simplicity, Grubby, because Simplicity is leaning into quite a controlling composition, at least from what I'm understanding of their draft so far.
Yeah, and I think she's often picked into Tychus because she can shrug off his minigun in many different ways. She can threaten with Condemn, she can blind him, and she doesn't have a high percentage health, so she doesn't take as much absolute points of damage. Johanna Leoric also used to be instant win condition on this map and on Tomb. When Leoric just came out, if you pick Leoric Johanna on Tomb or Infernal, you always won the shrine, you always won the game. And it has to be taken apart, not together. So it's a very shrine-focused frontline from Diamond Hands, not as punitive in the early, but they're going to delay the game, right? Like, even if Diamond Hands falls behind, they've got Brightwing and Falstad and Leoric constantly to soak up XP. So level 20 is almost guaranteed. And then you get level 20 Leoric, which is very powerful. Now that they have such a good shrine team, they also get Sylvanas with Black Arrow. It's a very objective-focused comp. I love it. What about Simplicity? Do they have a good story going, you think, Justin?
I do like that they have the Anubarak, Stukov, Tychus. That's a good combination. It's pretty easy to burn down pretty much anyone with the follow-up from the Stukov silence and then the Tychus damage. And Lunara, getting Lunara last pick is just always really great. Overall, though, I think I probably prefer Diamond Hands comp, mostly just because their comp's just better like at playing front to back, which I feel like these teams are mostly going to be doing that this game, just hitting each other's front lines. Tychus has a pretty difficult time doing that into a Johanna. Whereas Anubarak is a lot squishier on the front line, and it's going to have a little bit less of a fun time playing into things like Falstad and Sylvanas, just hitting him at the same time. So overall, I think Diamond Hands comp is a little bit better. I'm really kind of disappointed that Simplicity didn't opt in to go for a mage for Mene. That there's no, like, that would have been a Mephisto, a Gul'dan. Either of those I think would have been great, and I think opting to go for neither when you'd already picked Tychus is kind of disheartening for me.
Alrighty, well, a disheartened Justing. We'll see you after game number 3. And on the left-hand side, we got Simplicity, who are trying to, as I said before the break, rally back and start that reverse sweep potential here on Infernal Shrines with Legacy on the Stukov, Mene on the Tychus, Masquerade playing the Anubarak, Fancy Pants, or Pants on the Blaze, and Unaverted playing the Lunara. Over in the Diamond Hands side, looking to copy our WildHeart crew earlier and get a 3-0 through Infernal Shrines. It's going to be Kelsier on the Sylvanas, Gotfilth on the Falstad, Valimar on the Brightwing, Caesar Sal playing the Johanna, and Nintori on the Leoric. I'm calling for a Diamond Hands win here. I think the stock is just way too much in their favor, and it just keeps going up and up here, Grubby. But what do you think about these drafts and the potential of Infernal Shrines?
Well, there is Stukov, and this can overwrite the unstoppable effect of Johanna and Leoric. So with Anubarak Tychus, as long as you get first initiative, if you manage to stun Leo or Johanna, they are going to die. But if they see you coming whatsoever at all, Johanna presses D, Leoric presses E, and they get away. And so I think it's really down to doing the unexpected. With Stukov, you can burn these tanks with Stukov and Anubarak Tychus. But when it comes to ease of playing, Diamond Hands is a little bit easier to play. You win the objective, you empower it, you side push. They've got all the tools to both be aggressive with the objective or to be defensive without. So I'm with Diamond Hands here, but I'm just saying, Simplicity has a very robust composition. It's sturdy, it's vigorous, it has potential. It's nothing weird where it's like, what are they trying to do here with that thing? No, it makes total sense.
A more sturdy and stable composition, I would agree with you on that. We did have a little bit of a delay on the rotation to top lane from Blaze, so I think Leoric might have found a little free siege while he was up there. We'll have to check on that later. But the one thing I did check on at the start of this game was going to be what Punisher we have first. It will be in the top lane, and it is going to be a Frozen Punisher, considered one of the most important Punishers when it comes to siege, because it can lock down towers. You can also find a lot of available damage because of those lockdown towers and potential kills as well, since you can dive low, but dive deep. Speaking of diving, holy crap! First Blood goes over to the side of Simplicity. Masquerade with the read over the wall, and Tori to get chunked. And this Mene Tychus is looking very good.
So what actually happened there? Who's playing Falstad? Let's see. Gotfilth. This was funny. Gotfilth was in the bush. First of all, as we remember from the Monty Python sketch, although he was staying out of sight, he chose a very obvious bush. It illustrates the importance of not being seen, but also to pick the right bush and to hide in places with many bushes. Don't know if other people have seen that sketch. You should look it up. Anyway, the second point is, the Lunara's Sentinel Wisp revealed him. There would have been a red eye on Falstad, on Gotfilth, because she auto-attacked him from out of the bush into the bush. That's only possible if you've got vision, and there was nothing else. That Wisp was there, and I think it just started revealing. It has a small delay, and Falstad did not react. The moment he got revealed in that bush, he instantly should have barrel rolled. Lunara got a hit, then Masquerade stunned in. It wasn't a blind read. It was a mistake by Gotfilth.
An insanely good read as we have that recap right there. Man, I gotta say, I love that replay tool for this season. It's so nice to be able to be like, oh, that was really cool. And then you were talking about the vision and everything. I'm like, all right, let me go look at this. Let me go look back at this replay. And yeah, you can see Falstad had that little red dot over his head, and he just couldn't react fast enough. But reaction time, and well, there was that reaction time, but we've got new reaction times to consider right now as we do have our first objective phase up and available. Gotfilth did use the flight to jump into this top lane. Going to be down for the next 60 or so seconds. And 7 talent here for a slight advantage onto the Simplicity side, as this is a Leoric to fall in top lane. Is he going to fall on top? Okay, there he is. He's actually going to die right there.
Poison lasts forever. His drain doesn't, even though he was maintaining for a bit.
But this is the curious thing to me. I feel like Frozen Punisher is very, very important. I mean, Arcane Punisher is considered the best on this map, but the priority from Diamond Hands to actually split soak and split push instead of going for objective I've seen this from time to time. Seemed like a concept that fell off, but now it's coming back into Season 3 of CCL?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they kind of have the team for it. The way that I see their comp is they can win objectives, but they don't like getting flanked. This objective position is the worst for Diamond Hands because Blaze and Nubarak can apply more pressure to backline when they are forced to go into the shrine. Somehow, are they still getting it?
I was just about to say that, Grubby. I was like, we talk about all this, and it's like, holy crap, Diamond Hands have the Omega macro play and are able to still siege and get objective phase through top lane.
Hashtag globals.
Absolutely, that is pretty much I would say the explanation as to how this was available. Good bait over the wall from a Nubarak, and this should be a fort front gate to fall. I don't imagine Diamond Hands getting more than that.
Yeah, front gate with the Black Arrow, fairly easy, but we have a lot of defense here from Simplicity. And their fort is going to take about 20% damage. Really impressive so far by Diamond Hands. They are down a bit in XP because Mene has been pushing in the side lane. A bit of damage on Nintori, forces the Brightwing port. Falstad flies in as well. There's a lot of utility being used there to maybe try and get Mene. But Mene is a safe player. Everyone's got a profile of risk-taking index, and Menace is fairly low, his risk-taking index. That also means he's not going to get some of the most hard-to-reach kills where risk can pay off. But you can be sure that his death count is usually going to be quite low, and he didn't get caught by that 3-man attack. It's nice to see those instincts are still correct.
Sylvanas free pushing in the top lane as the members of Diamond Hands know the camp invade is happening. Nice use of the Black Arrows. Big wave clear from Kelsier as well, keeping this tower locked down. Caesar Salad comes into anchor, as well as, oh no, I thought for some reason they actually had the Laws of Hope, but it's going to be Zealous Glare at level 1. You had mentioned, Grubby, in the draft about the value of Joanna into the Tychus, and I like the Zealous Glare for the secondary or extra charge on the Shield Glare to mitigate Mene or Tychus value around objectives. But 10 talents are here. Wailing Arrow for the Sylvanas. Was expecting a mind control into like a Blessed Shield, but Falling Sword seems to be the big flavor as we had that buff onto it where it has the unstoppable factor to any friendly hero underneath the Falling Sword AoE.
And that's very powerful, especially at level 20, where you get those CDRs and the healing as well for people underneath it. It's pretty crazy. And again, Diamond Hands got that objective, but really their only goal, in my opinion, was not getting the objective. It's lessening the enemy objective's value once they get it. That was just a bonus. Their composition is meant to stall until level 20, and then they get ranged mosh pit on Falstad. They get Buried Alive. They get Infinity Falling Swords. And whatever Brightwing and Sylvanas do for fun is what they're going to get. These are very strong heroics. And it's not to say that Rewind on the Nubarak isn't good. But if you look at Lunara, Blaze, their heroic upgrades at level 20 are pretty lackluster. Stukov lackluster. Odin is a big one. Siege tool. But yeah, it's Tychus and Odin. Those have big utility. But ranged mosh pit is game winning, man.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't push people out of the Entomb with the wind tunnel, right? Because I know Entomb collision in Heroes of Storm can be a little interesting to say the least. Like Hogger can hog wild through an Entomb, but the wind
Tracer
tunnel
can blink out of it.
Yeah. So, but the Entomb, if you wind tunnel into it, that just puts everyone into the corner of the Entomb. Correct? It doesn't blow them out.
Repeatedly.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. That's
correct.
what I thought. Okay.
And that may even be a reason that you don't need Buried Alive, because Buried Alive is a double-edged sword. 4 seconds to 3. Does it matter if they're silenced when they're already being pummeled into a corner, unable to act, because the stuns repeat like every 1/10 of a second? Oh my god, Stukov is insane! Nice job by Legacy. Yeah.
And that is, Justin was saying this earlier, that the lurking arm build has been the priority as of late. And, I mean, It Hungers is a very, very strong tool as well for cooldown reduction, but you also have that low blow for the increased damage, 125% more damage to enemy heroes below 50% health. And it persists for a little extra longer as well, but right now, there's a phase shift onto Nintori to keep him alive, and our next objective is up and available. Seems like Simplicity are the ones who should be able to grab this one in mid lane.
So far, so good. There is a very nifty and I might say unexpected XP lead here for Simplicity. I'm gonna look at their XP contribution. Let's see. No, Right, Control F3, 4, 4.
Four.
Yeah, minion XP wise, Simplicity picked up more minions. That's impressive against double global Leoric.
As well as more mercenaries on top of that and some heroic kills. As I was looking at that experience as well. A little bit of Pixie Charm over to Caesar Salad as this mid lane Mortar Punisher is slapping his way through the fort. Falstad gonna split through the top lane and find a free fort for the side of Diamond Hands, so at least there's a trade in that. But now, here comes Mene. I'm assuming a Commandeer Odin shouldn't be too far off to help siege into this mid lane. There's the call down from the Odin, and Tori trying to pull this Punisher towards top lane area as Gottfeld flies in, Gus out the enemy team. Falling Sword saves the Joanna with some 300 HP.
Oh, I thought it was dead. Yeah, he got away, but Brightwing is dead. Next to a bunker in a cocoon, not a place you want to be, and that's gonna be a keep before 10-minute mark. 1 second. Oh, it's a post 10-minute keep. Not that it matters. There's no difference. But yeah, really nice to get a keep by the 10-minute mark. This is going to be another one. And Uberak, of course, is just the same as Sylvanas. There is no defense against Beetles or Black Arrow. So you can pretty much just take forts down like that.
This right here, Grubby, this is the simplicity I was thinking I was going to be seeing today, and they're really starting to kind of build this momentum on Infernal Shrines. Is there a possibility for Diamond Hands to reel it back in? I absolutely think that, because of the global potential, the Sylvanas split push. And speaking of split push, we constantly have Sylvanas and Falstad pushing up this top lane. It seems like there's a slow win condition being set up by Diamond Hands, but Simplicity, they take one good fight here. I mean, death timers aren't super long, but one really good fight for Simplicity, they could rush through mid and end game.
True. And you gotta keep in mind, the closer you are to the red base, or for colorblind, the orange base, the more dangerous fights are. Like, Diamond Hands doesn't want to fight on their own side of the map. Oh, wow, nice pickup.
I don't know if Falstad actually makes it out of this. He does have Gust. He's going to get hit with the Jet Propulsion. There's the Gust to come through. Phase Shift from Brightwing will connect. There's going to be a Lurking Arm from the Stuka Barrel Roll. Gets Got Filth away. Valimar polymorphs. The Masquerade and the Flight comes through. Good save from this Brightwing. Really well played. And then looks like we do have that Iron Skin from Caesar Salad to back away. That was just Cocoon utilized to try and get the kill. So not the longest cooldown. Yep.
Why do you think Anubarak stood so far away? Usually when I cocoon, I stand next to it, and I do Impale because Impale is like an ongoing effect, and Burrow Charge is like a singular moment. He stood far away, maybe like to prevent Mighty Gust or to see if a flank was coming.
That's it's kind of interesting, yeah, because he did. It was like cool. We cocooned you, and there was an oil slick, and I don't know why the positioning was so far back. I feel like that could have been a kill.
He was maybe worried that Johanna will come through the bush. That's why he went to position there and did like a max range impale. They kind of lost the chance to pin Falstad in one place. They also knew Gust is going to come out. I think it was a little bit of metagaming, thinking of all the different possibilities. Basically the same thing I usually never do. Where it's like, what could possibly go wrong here? Which is why my KDA isn't as good as Masquerade.
Well, Got Filth is going to barrel roll away. Flight is down for the next 3 seconds. Falstad needs to buy 1 second. No, I don't think he's going to be able to get out of this one. He's going to barrel roll. Flight is off cooldown, but he will fall. 49 seconds, but there's a cocoon onto the Joanna. The Haunting Wave to actually back off Sylvanas trying to get out of here. Iron Skin will be utilized by this Joanna. Eats the Jet Propulsion from the Blaze. Nubarak looking to maybe cut off the retreat path. Polymorph from Valimar is going to dissuade Masquerade. And the kill onto Falstad. He does have the flight when he respawns, but that's 29 seconds away. And the objective phase is here with Leoric getting bullied. No, maybe it's Mene getting bullied. Pops the Commandeer Odin. Phase shift in from the Brightwing. Is there a polymorph onto Mene? Healing pathogen spread by Legacy. And no, the phase shift just gets Leoric out, but this objective phase is going to quickly start going over to the side of Simplicity.
Yeah, nice utilizing that 25 armor from the Odin to stay alive a little bit longer in that mano-a-mano with Leoric. And then rescue was on the way. This Punisher is a Arcane Punisher going through bot. Getting the keep guarantees 20. I would say the likelihood of Simplicity ending and winning with this Punisher is 93.7%.
Really? Okay, all right.
I think so. Give or take 0.2.
Okay, I will take that 0.2 bet against you, and we'll see.
All right. Well, how do we measure it? Like, the result is binary.
You're right. Well, you know what? That's Twitch chats. You know, Twitch chat, you figure it out and you let us know how we'll split that one. But the push comes in through the bottom lane. Everyone's up and available on the side of Diamond Hands, as well as Simplicity. Simplicity, a sliver of experience away from their level 20s. Jump from the Punisher's eaten by the Johanna Iron Skin, and we have Punisher dropping below 60% HP. The fort keep front gate goes down. Gus from the Falstad pushes back the enemy team as the Cocoon does connect onto the Brightwing. Newbrack has that rewind from level 20. Could look for some big CC, but the Johanna is going to be crushed right there. She does go down. Blaze finding that kill. The keep should fall. Lunar's positioning's leading to me believe that exactly what Grubby just said is the case in Simplicity. They're trying to march on into this core. Sylvanas haunting wave backwards. Commandeer Odin with the big red button coming through. Stukov still holding his level 20. The Orc gonna get chunked here. Face shift from Brightwing does come through. The Punisher does fall. The Commandeer Odin is gonna be out trying to find the value. Falstead getting split by Masquerade. The big red button, and Valimar is still alive, but the core shielding has fallen. The core is starting to fall. Johanna dead for 20 more seconds. Flailing swipe coming through. The big red button value is here. The bunker from the Blaze is gonna shred through the core. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not a quick 3-0 3-0 weekend. Simplicity puts one up on the board, and we're heading to a map number 4 GG.
0 kills to 6. Menace first victory in the CCL, and the first match that doesn't go to a 3-0. It's 1-2. Simplicity's crawling back. We had written them off in terms of the draft, but not in terms of the possibilities. And they have grasped possibility with both hands, and are Tarzan swinging into the jungle of possibilities with this victory.
Now we got Justin back with us here, and Justin, I gotta ask you, were you expecting to see a Sylvanas with only 17,000 heroic damage in a 15-minute game?
No, I definitely wasn't expecting that. I didn't really expect them to commit so hard to splitting, even though they had the globals. It never really felt like they were ever together as 5, which on a map like Shrines, it feels impossible to win the game if you never group as 5. And some things, I guess, like some lessons that can be learned from today's games is it's probably not worth it to try to play the draft to try to split on Infernal Shrines. It seems like both the teams today that have drafted a comp that just plays on the Shrine, and that's just what they do. Just 5v5s on the Shrine has just completely destroyed the other team on this map. It seems like splitting is just not a viable strategy at all in 2021 on Infernal Shrines. And also the other thing is, at least from my perspective, Johanna, the hero, has looked kind of useless to me in pretty much every single game. She seemed just like almost a non-factor entirely. I kind of would, I don't know, I think her rework maybe didn't help her too much, and people are going Falling Sword just kind of for the sake of going Falling Sword, it seems, as opposed to, like, they're not running Falling Sword with dive comp or with a bunch of melees to heal up with the level 20 or like get the value with the level 20. It's kind of weird. It feels like they'd be better off picking almost any other tank. So yeah, those are like my main takeaways from the day of Infernal Shrines and just games up to this point, is the Johanna just feels really bad and splitting feels pretty bad on Shrines.
But she was top damage in game 1.
Yeah. I mean, that might be more of a, like the rest of the Simplicity members maybe not pulling their own weight sort of thing, because that's a little strange.
Or maybe one of those tanks that doesn't help the backline and is like, yo, I got more damage than you, after they constantly dive and let their backline die to a Tyrael Abathur hat.
I got 7 deaths, but I got the highest heroic damage. I don't know what y'all are doing. Like, it's not my fault, obviously. It's yours. My stats, my numbers, they're so good.
Justin doesn't know what we're talking about. He doesn't know what it's like down there, like the kind of feelings we have. He's way too spoiled by scrims and stuff to have experienced stuff like this.
I'm sure you've run into a fun few butcher mains out there in your experience, Justin. But what we're going to be running into next is our 4th map in the second best of 5 of the day, and we're going to figure out where we're going to. It's going to be Simplicity, choosing to take us to Alterac Pass, as the members of Diamond Hands have opted into first pick priority. Going into Alterac Pass, it wasn't the most popular map last season of CCL, and this is the first time we're seeing it this season. Grubby, what's your thoughts on this map? Do you think the composition of Diamond Hands plays better to this map? Or do you think Simplicity, they could kind of run the same thing as last game and just, kind of win the micro or win the team fights consistently here?
I think you just draft a team with possibilities. I don't think you want to go too much in one direction. I know I've spoken today about the story of your draft and like how you need to have a purpose, but I don't think, like Justin said, stalling is it. Like just stalling for some future moment. Maybe there's not enough aggression and opportunity for your opponent to make mistakes. A story is good, but make sure that there's elements of aggression. And yeah, I agree. Like Johanna, she sucks actually.
Thank you.
Old takes. I mean, I will say this.
I'm sorry.
I have moved off of playing Joanna quite a bit in my own Storm League tanking. I've actually moved quite a bit into a new Barak, and that's why I was actually kind of picking your brain earlier about it, Grubby. I was like, ooh, I got an Anubarak aficionado with me, so I might as well try and figure out a little bit more. But I feel like the Anubaraks, the Muradins are doing a lot more. Garrosh is great. We haven't seen Mei today, but I feel like Mei is in a phenomenal spot as well with just her overall kit and her heroic choices with Avalanche or the Ice Wall. I would love to see a Mei coming out on Alterac Pass here for either of these sides because I just think she's got so much utility. Funny enough, I don't know if you two have noticed this, I've actually been seeing more solo lane ETC with the guitar solo build and everything like that, because there's the level 1 and 7 synergy, if I'm not mistaken, and then taking stage dive to try and dive into the backline onto like Anas and Valas and stuff like that. I don't know if you two have experienced that or what your thoughts on either of those things could be.
I think could have seen more in Storm League of it. I'm not sure if it's as good in competitive, but I think for Storm League is nice. What about you?
ETC, I think with the buffs, it's not huge, but ETC was already kind of on the cusp of being pretty good. So I think if all the other offlaners like the Haka, Blaze, if they weren't Urel, Leoric, they weren't so strong right now, I think that you'd see a lot of ETC in the offlane. But I definitely think that ETC with stage dive just in general it's definitely a viable option. Point.
And it's just been something I've noticed here and there in some of the stuff I've been casting, so I wasn't sure if it might bleed into HeroesCCL. Really excited for this Alterac Pass map. One of those objective phases where it's summon into the lanes, much like Garden of Terror or Tomb of the Spider Queen. No vehicle for you to drive, but the push potential amplified by the cavalry is massive on this map. And we're about to get into the draft here, so I like to ask this to both of you. So let me pick your brain here, Justin, as we're getting into this. What's your priority bans if you were the one drafting? Not in this specific matchup, but just what do you ban out on Alterac Pass? What's something annoying to deal with? Maybe like a Junkrat that constantly keeps delaying out the objective phase.
So this map, unlike Shrines, this is a map where I would say the globals are extremely important. I don't know if any of them play Vikings, but this would probably be like an amazing Vikings map. I don't know if anyone plays that, but Falstad, Brightwing, Dahaka. I'm expecting Dahaka to for sure get banned, probably from simplicity here. But yeah, there's the Dahaka ban. The globals are going to be really important, and then things that can stall really well on this map are pretty obnoxious. Like you mentioned, the Junkrat, also Stukov, depending on which spawn you get, because the objective on this map sometimes spawns like inside your base. Yeah, there's the Stukov ban. Stukov can kind of stall over the wall with the puddle build that we've been seeing a lot of today. So they've pretty much banned most of it. I guess now the main thing comes down to Brightwing is available. So we'll see if they look to take the global right away or if they're kind of afraid of that after opting into globals last game.
Togger, they're going to go a little over meta on this map, Grubby. They're going to grab the knoll where we have the knolls.
Now there's 7 of them.
Yeah. they just keep multiplying. They're the pesky knolls on this map.
I think it's your number one concern. The Alterac is like a book with a first chapter and the next and the next, and then there's the outro. The outro of the book of Alterac Pass is 2 keeps down, and then you have a boss. That's how you finish. But the the prologue and the intro is Hogger spamming the Hogger camp, or someone like him. And he does a better job of it than Vala. Vala needs a lot more mana, and Hogger doesn't. And Hogger also does it faster. So I still think this is one of his best maps. The fight locations are also very, very friendly to good spins and good horde and loot horde setups and so on. Muradin is a great engager and disengager with his healing. And we've got the global there as well. And what you need now for Diamond Hands, and I think what you need in general on this map, and I don't know if both of you agree, I like 2 solo laners on this map. 1 top, 1 bot, fast clear. One of those solo laners can also spam the Hogger camp. And then both of them can come mid, like an accordion, pushing mid with all 5 to empower your Hogger camp and to kill the enemy Hogger camp. The moment you grab 2 backline ranged assassins, you can't really do that because it's too risky to jungle travel.
So would you say something? So you because I was actually just about to ask you, and I think you kind of summed that up perfectly. You wouldn't grab like a Sylvanas for one of those lanes, and then grab like Mercenary Queen to buff that. You'd grab something like a Sonya or a Leoric or a Rexar in that bottom to match the Hogger, and then you have a.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
would like Hogger, Brightwing, Muradin, and then with a Leoric or a Malthael or a Sonya or a Maiev, and then one backliner.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see if that's going to be the case. I want to get Justin's thoughts on all of this. As the draft is unfolding, we did have a couple bans. Anything standing out to you or anything that you're excited to see here on Alterac Pass?
Yeah, I think the Diamond Hands comp with their first 3 picks is very, very strong. The Hogger being able to do the camp easily while also being an offlane is strong. And I do agree with Grubby that having the double offlane on a map like this is pretty good. That's something that we used to run on Garden, which is similar. Like the concept is the same, where you can kind of do like a 1-1-3-1 sort of thing. So far I prefer Diamond Hands comp quite a bit. They got the Brightwing somehow on the 2-3, which I don't think that seems kind of illegal to me to get that along with Hogger on this map. And not the Bene Zagara though. Okay, it's interesting. That's weird. One thing that I would like to have seen from Diamond Hands is the Blaze ban instead of the Malfurion ban. I think that was a pretty big blunder in the draft. With them showing the Vala so early, they definitely shouldn't have been able to get away with getting that Blaze on the 3-4, I think. But this is Mene trying to carry.
He used to love Zagara. It was starting to become a meme last time I saw him play, where he wanted to like mix it in.
Didn't
he sub once?
It was a you might be thinking of the HeroesCCL Season 1 free agent tournament where Mene played Zagara, and we actually got an interview with him, and I was like, we were all like, why'd you play Zagara? And he was like, well, there was an Abathur, and I wanted to be the better Zerg. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. But no, I mean, that's what he said in that one. He likes playing Zagara. That was if I remember correct, that was like a Dragonshire map as well. So I'm excited about this, but just before we load in here, Justin, I got to get your thoughts. Who is going to win map number 4? Is this going to be a closeout by Diamond Hands, or will Simplicity take us to a map 5?
I'm really expecting Diamond Hands to close this one out. I'm going to say that if Diamond Hands doesn't win here, it's based off of Mene diff. Okay. Mene with the Zagara legend. No one else really plays it anymore, so yeah, either Mene pops off on Zagara or Diamond Hands just completely stomps. I think those are the two choices here.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Justin, for your insight and analysis. We will see you after map number 4, Alterac Passes. We are loaded on in, and this could be the final map, or this could be the start, or the continuation, of Simplicity. Rolling things back, we got Pants on the Blaze, Legacy on the Deckard, Mene on the Zagara, Unaverted playing Vala, and Masquerade on the Anubarak. Over in the Diamond Hand side, we got Caesar Salad playing the Muradin, Nintori on the Hogger, Valimar on the Brightwing, Kelsier on the Chromie, and Gotfilth on Sylvanas. I am liking the Diamond Hands draft here, Grubby. If memory serves me right, Nintori's got an insanely good Hogger, so I'm leaning into the Diamond Hands side. I think they'll take the series in a 3-1. What are your thoughts as we load into our mid lane engagement?
Well, I'm first of all looking at Vala with Creed of the Pepega at level 1.
I've never heard it called that. Why Pepega?
It's really surprising. I mean, Vala, not exactly a target that has a very easy job staying alive against Hogger Chromie. I find it interesting. I wouldn't expect to see this. Multi-shot is the safe one. Hungering Arrow is the dual one. And he goes for Creed of the Pepega. I mean, I knew Unaverted was a stack junkie, but this is getting crazy. We need an intervention. I am impressed with Zagara, though. Justin likened this map to Garden of Terror. And I've been picking non-stop Zagara on Garden, and it's working out pretty well. I think she's a good pick on slow, pushy, deep pushy maps. So I think Mene diff could matter.
I think you both put it very perfectly as we kind of hang around our start of the map. Hogger Blaze already on those null camps to grab to push in. The big reason we talk about the null camp is it's much like the Sentinel camp on Hanamura Temple, the giant Genji, as many people also call it. That is the true objective, because these nulls reduce armor of structures as well. So the siege potential is very quickly amplified by this null camp. And also, it has one of the shortest natural cooldowns in Heroes of Storm at 1 minute and 30 seconds. You can take a Nova and reduce cooldown or camp cooldowns by 50% if you have her bribe talent. It used to be on Vikings as well, which I thought was such a cool talent, and then they got rid of that factor. Maybe Vikings are a little too powerful with that one. Regardless, that null camp, we're going to be seeing that grabbed almost off of cooldown. And you had said it in draft, and I think Justin was knowing this as well. Hogger grabs that camp so much quicker than almost anyone on the side of Simplicity, and does it so much better on his own as well.
You know what's the irony about it, though?
Sure.
Grabbing the Hogger camp anywhere from 4 to 10 seconds slower than your opponent is actually an advantage.
Really?
Because your Hoggers meet in front of your towers. They both apply the -20 armor debuff on each other. And that's when your towers are shooting theirs. That means that yours always ends up out-surviving, which means that the first team to grab Hogger camp has to stay another 20 seconds to wait for the Hogger camp to come to their towers, during which time the initial defensive team can already split up and try to gank a solo laner or do something else. That doesn't mean you don't want to grab it fast still.
Yeah.
Hogger took it first, and now he's going to take it first again, maybe. Eventually, that tends to overtake, and your Hogger camp will eventually get to the enemy towers before theirs comes to defend. But for the first 1 or 2 rotations or so of that Hogger camp, it is a disadvantage to grab fast. And that's the irony about that.
I'm gonna have to try that in my own games. I'm gonna try and hold my camp till I see the enemy team channel theirs, and then cap mine on the right hand side. Because typically we rarely, if ever, see someone invade onto a Hogger camp unless someone's stream sniping you. No one does that though, of course. Who would stream snipe?
You know why I stopped playing Hogger? Because every single time I took a camp, enemy invaded with all 4 or 5 members, and then when I wasn't streaming, people never invaded. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. People find it curious as to why I put something over my mini-map. They're like,
did you?
Oh, no. Yeah, they're just like, no other streamer does this. And I was like, you sure? Have you been watching Here's the Storm? Anyways, let's talk about this map here. Yeah.
In other MOBAs, people always cover their mini-map. It's meta. We never kind of did here.
Yeah, that's so weird. Anyways, let's talk about the objective phase, because it is going to be the first one of the game. It takes 30 seconds to channel. And Grubby, I actually realized and saw this recently. Wait, hold on. Unaverted getting dove in mid lane could lose one of their Creed of the Hunter stacks, but Unaverted's able to get away. The bounce from Nintori doesn't find the kill. The thing with the... Yeah, go.
The only reason he even nearly got caught is because he wanted 1 or 2 more stacks and created the Pepega, and he nearly died because of it, which loses you the equivalent of, I don't know, like, it's a different metric, but imagine losing 50 stacks over dying or something.
That's not fun. But the objective phase, I want to just talk about something really, really cool mechanically wise with this. The first objective phase, 30 seconds. Second one, 40 seconds. Third one and onward are 50 seconds of channel time. But the first objective has 2 jailer defenders. The second has 3, and the third onward has 4 jailers. I didn't realize that till recently, when you actually, as the game scales up on the objectives, so do the amount of jailers protecting your or the enemy sides. But we can talk about that a little bit more as we have a little bit of a pause here, waiting to find out what the issue could be. And Grubby, as we wait around for this first objective, it's kind of interesting to see the change into the priority for this. And maybe it was just Masquerade trying to put pressure onto the map, but typically we have a lot of teams wait till 10 talent here before even going near this objective phase. And Masquerade got that initial channel time of about 18 seconds.
Yep, and I think Anubrak is the top tank pick on this map because of that. Sagara, Gaslow, Anubrak, Nova, anyone that has a summon, Samuro, they can capture, I call it the cheese cap. It's the non-forced cap, except when it baits your allies to try and defend it with their lives and they die. But in theory, you can just solo cap it, start a few seconds, without any commitment or need to finish it off and actually fight all the way for it. And that's what Anubrak can do. He's also a meta pick. Gaslow, of course, Nova, Samuro are not. That's why you take Anubrak for it. I love it. Unaverted, again, getting stacks, not dying. Stack, 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 hitting higher.
79 stacks on that Creed of the Hunter for the Vala, but right now the fight will break out around the objective phase. Just going to go over to the side of Simplicity. Got Filth will go down. First blood to the members of Simplicity, maybe looking to make it a double kill into Muradin. Phase shift from Brightwing comes through. Valimar in an awkward spot, but has the blink heal to get away. It's a PSA to all of you in chat. Make sure you drop your Brightwing off in a good location so they're not forced to blink heal away.
Unaverted just got another stack. He got 2 full rotations of stacks. Every 50 is a bonus, namely 1% per hatred extra. You get 100 hatred. I mean, it adds bonus damage, whatever. Like, you just got another chunk of bonus damage. Meanwhile, we have not really seen Mene, have we?
Mene's just been kind of doing Mene things with the Zagara, and it seems like it's working out well. There's going to be a mind control into the mid lane onto someone right there. It's going to be Deckard Cain who actually goes down in that engagement unaverted. Still continuing to build those stacks. Caesar Salad wants to take down Vala, but she is going to have the sustained damage. Polymorph forces that Vala away. But in top lane, the objective phase still strong, finds 50% of the fort. Zagara, Mene backing away. Hogger pinballing around with that Hog Wild, but does not advance further into Zagara. And it's looking, let's take stock of the map right now. Top lane lost about 75% of the HP on the fort. Mid lane is looking a-okay, but the fort front gate has fallen. And in bottom lane, looks like Chromie was able to sustain things, and that's going to be 50% left on that fort. Diamond Hands didn't lose too much, but Simplicity, I think, still found some really good value with that first objective.
Yeah, really nice. They got half damage on bottom fort and 80% on the top fort. And of course, Zagara is never going to leave. He's going to put creep tumors on the flank so that he doesn't get ganked. Put a road spot first so that you know that the road is clear to put creep tumor, and then the creep tumors end up defending you. At least that's what I would expect he would do. But he sees everyone mid, and that's why he knows, hey, at worst I'm one-on-one. There he is, pushing. And then suddenly, Hogger, Brightwing top. Brightwing porting top to Hogger feels a little desperate by Diamond Hands. Zagara Mene wasn't even low or very easily catchable. I don't think Hogger Brightwing can catch Zagara unless Hogger instantly burns his ult on Zagara. Either Hortipult or Shockwave. But there we go. Sylvanas also went top and is now pushing along with Hogger with back arrows. Only a Nubrak response for now.
I wonder if the consideration of the Brightwing phase shift was because Mene was so low on mana. That's why we actually saw the Hearth out from Mene through top lane, is because that mana bar was so very low. Cocoon connects onto this Sylvanas. There's a few assist pings coming out. Legacy throws down the scroll of ceiling, will not connect, but Got Filth gonna get hit with the phase shift from Bright. No! It's going to be canceled out, and the Stay Well and Listen. Valimar is gonna be chunked as well, and it wasn't actually canceled out. I misread that. It was the level 7 Deckard Cain Emerald that mitigated 75% of that phase shift from Brightwing, and a double kill over to the side of Simplicity, who are building massive momentum in game number 4.
Yeah, instead of healing like 1,000, phase shift heals for 250. Not exactly the big saving grace that you would hope for. And Brightwing also didn't pick the shield at level 7, which normally the shield is what, 600 points of shield on 1,000 heals, so that's less than double. But now, with Emerald, that shield would have literally been responsible for 3 times as much extra survivability in what she brings. Didn't take it though, went for the extra cleanse, and the extra healing, which isn't as good into Emerald. But of course, more cleanse is always good. Wasn't good enough for Sylvanas. Her E just respawned. Let's take a look at that again. Sylvanas' E is now 1 second, 0.5. Now she has it, but there wasn't enough time to use it. The minus 75 from Deckard was strong. To stay a while and listen. Got the kill on Brightwing, and Unaverted's auto attack build with the Death Dealer resets is giving him the mobility and the burst that most builds don't have.
152 stacks on this Vala. She has not died yet, so she's got all of her mortgage available, and also that 150 means that she has 3% increase on that hatred bonus. But is anything possible for the side of Diamond Hands with the looming 16 talent tier to the side of Simplicity, or will this be Simplicity turtling up, getting 16, and then taking an objective phase, Grubby?
Well, I think 16 will be reached easily. Diamond Hands is trying to kind of push in. But here's the thing. The Hogger camp and mid fort is the most important fort. The top and bottom keep are the most important keeps. But the mid fort is the most important because from it you have a staging ground, a defense place, and a cancel ground to stop objectives. That's why it is not possible for Diamond Hands to even begin to think of taking the objective, because there will be someone over the wall throwing stuff and interrupting. So Diamond Hands only ever could have done maybe 2 plays. Try to gank a solo laner or take bottom boss. Thing is though, if Simplicity notices that Diamond Hands is yielding the map because they're not level 16 yet and they're going for the boss, they would take down mid fort, and then the objective is going to be really painful.
The objective phase is a second or two away. Valimar going for the counter channel at 1.9 seconds. Zagara does have some Banelings, but it's not going to be quick enough, and Brightwing, Valimar gets the channel. I wanted to note that Sylvanas was pushing out a little bit in mid lane a few moments ago, and then we did have Hogger in bottom lane during all of this, trying to soak up for 16 talent here, and is able to do so. Blaze did find the fort in bottom lane for Simplicity, so some Reaver minions spawning there as well as in top lane. Fun fact, the Reaver minions don't deal any extra damage into minions or structures or anything like that. Hold on, mind control onto Decker Kane, but I think Gotfield just needs to get away. The Reaver minions, if you didn't know, have 50 armor. That's why they're so push heavy. Because I was wondering, I was like, they don't deal extra damage. How do these waves always win? And it's because they're just tanky. The Reaver minions are really tanky, and it's one of the unique minions you get in Heroes the Storm, where you don't get a catapult, instead you get a completely different minion to push the lane, which is always interesting to me. Masquerade trying to go for the channel. Gotfield goes in with a huge Haunting Wave, has the Will of Forsaken. Huge bounce from the Hogger coming around. The bunker comes down from the Blazers. A soothing mist from this Brightwing. Avatar form used by Caesar Salad. He wants to get his trait to kick in, but unaverted has sustained damage. Chromie gets hit with the Zagara devouring Maw. There's going to be a timeout from Chromie, but I don't know if you make it out of this one unless you got one. I don't know. She doesn't have here and there. I was wondering if she did, and I was like, yeah, you can trade place with the sand, but not the case. Objective phase over the side of Simplicity, and Grubby, this series is starting to just fall to Simplicity's favor.
Yep, they have woken up. The beast has been awakened, and they're making their comeback. 2-2 is nearly guaranteed. Stay wild, listen. Hogger has a wind-up on literally everything he does. So if there are full interrupts available, he can't do anything. Legacy took him down there with that Deckard. And yeah, Simplicity is crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Meta finally on a hero who's happy to play, I think. He was never the Hanzo. He was never the Tychus. He was the Gul'dan. He was the Jaina. He was the Kael'thas. And Zagara, obviously, he loves the hero. Way more comfortable in it than Junkrat, I think. And generally, just a really good draft. Good play by Simplicity. Diamond Hands, not the same thing. They went for that double backline that I don't really like on this map. Chromie, Sylvanas. Now, granted, there's also double backline by Simplicity, but Zagara falls more under the solo lane role. You don't have to run her solo lane, but because of the creep tumors, she's a more safe solo lane backliner than many.
We are getting set up for what is considered the win condition, the end condition for Simplicity, as you and Justin had noted during the draft. 2 keeps have fallen, boss could be played through bottom lane, and Simplicity could try and walk in an end game. The reason that you typically need to take down more than one keep here on Alterac Pass is because, just like how the Reavers have some armor, your core has spell and physical armor, and it's going to be 20 per keep available. Obviously, you can't end the game if there's 3 keeps, but when you only take down 1, there's still 40 spell and physical armor on that core, which makes it a little difficult to rush through, as well as those shorter death timers. But now that 2 have fallen, we could see that end for Simplicity. Cocoon comes out, there's a lot of damage. Will the Forsaken will be utilized. Avatar form from the Murden will be popped. Temporal Loop from Chromie will be utilized on the Masquerade, and Tori trying to bounce away. Rewind from the Chromie and the Anubrak. They kind of throw each other around right there. Sylvanas with the mind control, big jet propulsion from Blaze, but it seems like Diamond Hands are able to slowly slink away.
Hero damage check.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous. I've been looking at the entire time.
Zagara, 32k. Blaze and Anubrak, 18k. Every DPS on Diamond Hands, 18k. Vala, 52k.
I know, right? It is. This Creed of the Hunter is looking not so Papega in the hands of Unaverted.
It isn't just that, right? Like, I'm sure Kelsey and Godfield know how to press buttons and hit people. The fact that they have the same damage as Blaze and Anubrak, it's all about space and opportunity. Yeah. Not enough space can be created by Hogger Muradin compared to Blaze and Anubrak. And Vala, he's able to sidestep Muradin. Like, Muradin doesn't have a point-and-click stun like Diablo or Varian.
You think the Varian would have been stronger with the Chromie value? You go in, you charge, you taunt, Chromie bursts, or is this it just you can't even step in and close the distance?
It's an isolated comment. Like,
okay.
Varian would try to go for what? Like, he can only go for an out-of-position Vala, or he goes for Blaze and Anubrak.
That's
and
true.
Then they're gonna burn everything on him, but there's like a second frontliner. It's basically a 2-tank team by Simplicity. So you cannot really Varian into that. Varian likes to be into a 1 tank usually, not 2 tanks.
Well, that makes a lot of sense as the objective phase channeled once again to Simplicity. Bottom lane fort was found to the side of Diamond Hands, but that top lane keep does fall to the boss from Simplicity's side, and things are spiraling out of control on the Diamond Hands side. It's looking like the stock ticker starting to tank.
Yep, that is true. It might just be a trick, market manipulation, to try and get the 3-2 in the final moment. Oh, big jump forward. Cocoon burrow charge away by Nubarak. Such safe play. You know, when I think of pro players, I always think of studs that can out micro everything and so on, that are they have so much confidence and stuff. But sometimes I really respect how safe they play things, burning big cooldowns just not to die. That's part of it as well. It's not all about attacking and killing.
Vala is going to take a lot of damage, and she will be bursted down. Hogger gets in the backline with that. Oh my god, the no control! But I gotta say, the biggest factor in all of this, it was that shockwave. And there was one moment, there was a split second where Masquerade rotated to mid lane, I think, to push things up or something. And that was the go button for the side of Diamond Hands. They find a double kill, but meanwhile on the right side of the minimap, we got a camp pushing in, and that needs to be dealt with by Sylvanas. The objective phase is being channeled still. Murden, Dwarf tosses in, finds the double Stormbolt, but is there enough damage to solidify a kill? Masquerade getting chunked right now. Chromie revealing the area, throwing in some Sandblast, but there's too many beetles, too many Zagara Hydralisks to eat these shots, and Caesar Salad and friends have to double back to be able to get the channels. The Jailers did stall out said objective.
Now, you know that Zagara doesn't have a quest yet, so she doesn't get a third Roachling yet. This talent is still good even when you don't get the quest. It's not the reason you pick it. But if somehow you were able to get it, you would have 3 Roaches and a Hydra, all of which do 1.75% damage. That's 7.5% damage via your 4 summons every second. It's really crazy. Even now, it's still a lot. Let's check out this game again. The deletion on Vala was very well done. He couldn't even Rain of Vengeance.
The Hogger, I was looking, he was almost at max Fury on before he used that no control, so that got quite a bit of value. 60-second cooldown onto that one, and we're going to be seeing it actually up and available already, that On the Prowl. 14 seconds on that one, just looking through some cooldowns. Anubarak does have the rewind, and the big thing I'm going to look at as well, I'm sure people are wondering, Brightwing does have the phase shift off cooldown, but this is the first objective to the side of Diamond Hands. What can they do with this? Mind control from Sylvanas, gonna miss unaverted with that vault away.
This is a very important push for Diamond Hands. They have had some good things happening. 3 kills, and they got the objective, but there's still 0 keeps against 5 forts at the moment. They gotta get more kills. That was a cool interrupt on Murden there. That's great. Staying safe. There's a mind control on Zagara. That's a double temporal loop. A Maul doesn't actually succeed in getting anything. Mena gets killed, so does Murden. It's a 1-for-1. 2-for-1 in favor of Simplicity. Uh-oh.
Unaverted vaulting forward. Some invisible friends value from Valimar. Unaverted still trying to chase in. She does have the Farflight Quiver, which at max hatred outranges forts, keeps, and the core by 8 point. But it's literally like 0.24 range or something like that. It's very, very minimal, because I believe the keep, core, and towers or forts shoot at an 8 range. So interesting little factor right there if you're interested. I believe the 2 towers in front of your keep and your fort have a 7 range. So if you're ever wondering how to outrange them, well, Vala with Farflight Quiver and Max Hatred is your play. But 2 dead on the side of Diamond Hands. Zagara dead for 19 seconds. And it seems like this will be a null camp for mid and a boss camp for top lane. I think Simplicity... There's no way that Diamond Hands can interrupt this, can they?
Well, they have to. If they don't, it's GG. They gotta try.
Well, this seems extremely risky, but they might go for it. Some invisible friends value. Murden working his way back over here. Hogger doesn't have the Hortipult. Does he go for no control? Do they step in? Nice cocoon. Nice cocoon for Masquerade, but is there a play around it? The time stop is cleared out, and this phase shift comes through from the Brightwing, but it's going to be mitigated by the Emerald value of the Decker Cane. Temporal Loop on a Masquerade, he's going to get chunked. Vala is going to be able to finish out her entirety of that level 1 questing talent. Sylvanas able to back away. Brightwing does go down. Things are falling apart on the Diamond Hands side as Caesar Salad tries to get out of here. Chromie does go down. Got filled. throws the Haunting Wave backwards. Caesar Salad 1 auto away. Haunting Wave does get Got Filth out, but the rush is in through top lane. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we have ourselves a series where Simplicity are going to roll things back potentially and take us to a game number 5. The Devouring Maw buys some time. Mene, taking a lot of damage here, is going to be getting a healing potion just in time. This core is starting to fall. Caesar Salad wants the kill onto Mene, but did Caesar Salad dwarf toss too far forward? Absolutely. That's a pentakill to the side of Simplicity, only losing a Nubarak and gaining another map in their favor. Ladies and gentlemen, we head to a map 5 in our second best of 5 of the day. This is a wonderful, a phenomenal series that we're having to close out our Saturday matches. Grubby, I am loving the turnaround from Simplicity here.
This is CCL.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, it's not over yet.
No, it's not. It's not over. It's not. We still got one more map. We still got to figure things out. But let's get Justin back in here. And Justin, I got to pose this question to you: How is it that there's just lackluster damage, to put it plainly, on the side of Diamond Hands, where Vala was kind of unimpeded almost? She died once.
Yeah, it really seemed as though Chromie and Sylvanas felt kind of scared to step forward. Gotfilth was doing some kind of cheeky plays with the double E on Sylvanas, but it didn't seem like there was any point where he was able to actually just stand his ground and just hit the front line. So I think that's mostly just good positioning by Masquerade, and just the threat of the cocoon, I think, was maybe too much for them. I think they were maybe just too afraid of that. And it was a little disjointed, it felt like, in some team fights, where Caesar Salad would kind of just jump into the backline, and he could get a decent amount done in the backline, but it was basically like just him by himself doing that. So it was kind of an awkward situation of where maybe Nintori and Caesar Salad weren't really on the same page with each other, and then not on the same page with their range. So the range weren't really able to get the damage off that they needed. Whereas during that whole time, Mene and Unaverted on the Vala and the Zagara are just kind of free firing with really not a lot of threat on them at all. Because if anything goes wrong for them too, they have the Blaze Bunker to fall back on, whereas there's not really anything like that for the side of Diamond Hands.
It was an interesting map, to say the least. I definitely think we're seeing some niche hero picks that I'm assuming are only going to be flooding Storm League as of tomorrow. But looking back at a few of these moments from Alterac Pass, Justin, it just seemed like Simplicity was almost unstoppable. Yes, they lost a member or two here and there, but it was bigger trades in favor of Simplicity. They maybe lose one, like a Nubarak, but then they find like a triple kill. Is this indicative of what we'll see for map number 5, or do you think Diamond Hands, they're not out of this just yet?
It does really seem like Simplicity kind of turned it on after game 2. Game 3 onwards, they've been looking like a completely different team from the first 2 games. And Diamond Hands sort of in the same way feels a little like deflated, maybe, where it feels like maybe the series has reached a turning point in game 3 where Diamond Hands maybe ran out of steam a bit. Maybe they're starting to get flustered, and Simplicity, on the other hand, has a ton of momentum right now. One thing I would say is the Anubarak has seemed extremely important, as well as the Blaze. I think maybe not allowing Simplicity to get those 2 heroes is probably a pretty important thing for Diamond Hands. And I'd also like to see Diamond Hands just pick some like solid, consistent range damage, because things like the Chromie, it takes a lot of coordination to really get value from it. The Chromie this game, for me, didn't really do enough, in my opinion, to warrant picking it here.
You think Slowing Sands would do more, or in general just Chromie?
Probably. I mean, another thing, in this game in particular, the first objective, Chromie's main job should really be to just stall that objective, because the objective spawned on their side, like under their base. There's really no excuse for Simplicity, on Masquerade, on Simplicity, to be able to steal any of that. Well, he has a Nubarak, and credit to him beginning to steal, but Kelsier should really, like, his only real job should be to just sit there and just throw sand over the wall. And so that was a bit of a misplay by him as well. Just in general, Simplicity had a much better understanding of how to play the map as well.
Simplicity was dominant so far in the latter half of this best of 5 series. Diamond Hands had a strong start, but they're seemingly unable to close out the series. We're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're going to get set up for map number 5, our final map of our Saturday matches, and we're going to find out, will Simplicity kick off the season with a reverse sweep, or can Diamond Hands shut things down? We'll find out after a little bit of a break, but in that break, I encourage you to hit an exclamation point prize pool if you'd like to check out the Matcherino page and donate towards HeroesCCL. We have hit $1,710 because of your support. There's roughly $400+ that have been donated today, so we really want to say thank you to the community. Thank you all for supporting HeroesCCL, and we'll see you after this short little break to find out who takes the final map in our final best of 5 of the day. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. We are in our first day of our Season 3, and things are a lot spicier than we actually anticipated. We had a really fun first best of 5 of the day. It went 3-0, but we are in the mix of our final best of 5 of the day, and we are going to a map number 5. My name is Bahamut. I'm joined by Grubby and Justing, and I gotta ask you, Grubby, are your expectations being met for day 1 of HeroesCCL, or are you like, okay, well, this is exactly as I predicted?
A lot of things happened that I didn't expect. I thought we were going to see more Mayevs. Among those, I thought we were going to see more victories with her, because I judged her buffs to be over the top and her to be really strong. Apparently she did get played a lot in free agent pool. Not so much yet. Some of the usual suspects look good in terms of hero choices. As for the teams, I think Simplicity looked unexpectedly weak, but now it looks normal again. I was like, oh, did the roster changes affect them that much? They're looking better and better as the series goes on, and that is comforting. Diamond Hands, though, can they rally back now? It's the hardest thing in the world. Coming back from a 2-0, 2-2, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, when we look at just what's happened so far with this series, it has been pretty back and forth when it comes to the maps. It was 2 maps to the side of Diamond Hands, and it was 2 maps to the side of Simplicity. And I guess you can say that's back and forth. But what I want to talk about here, Justing, is our 5th map. It's going to be Cursed Hollow, chosen by Diamond Hands, which is interesting to me. This means that Diamond Hands, the losing team, opted for map pick, giving first pick over to Simplicity. Why do you think this is? Do you think Diamond Hands has something up their sleeve, and they're like, all right, we gotta pull out Exodia, and now's the time when we gotta try and win out our series against Simplicity? Or is this just, you know what, let's take them to a giant map and try and, macro around this? What do you think is going on in Diamond Hands' head choosing map pick into Cursed Hollow?
I think that map pick in general is kind of underrated. People tend to just go for first pick as sort of the default, but I think that a lot of the time, unless you have a really, really fleshed out draft strategy where you're going to get a big advantage from first pick, a lot of the time I actually think choosing the map is sort of a bigger advantage. As much as we'd like to think that we're all gods at every map, most teams are not. Most teams have maps that they're a lot better on, and if they track those stats, they can see that most of the time there is a map that they're a lot better at than a map that they're really bad at compared to. I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm hoping that it is, that they have some sort of stinky cheese prepared for this map. I'm really hoping that, because that is one of the best ways. How Grubby was saying how it's difficult to come back from being down 2-0 to being in the position of getting reverse swept. It's a big morale destruction for the team to be in that situation. Like you put all your energy into the first 2 games, and then it's nearly impossible to come back from the pushback. Like the momentum shifts against you, and it just feels like your back's against the wall. If they do have a cheesy strategy prepared, that is probably one of the best ways to get everyone on the same page, to get everyone everyone hyped up, all on the same page, ready to play. So I hope that's the case. I hope they have some disgusting strategy prepared for Cursed Hollow here.
So just to be transparent with all of you at home, we're just getting the lobby set up here, just resetting the lobby, as we just want to make sure that everything flows correctly for these players. So thank you for all bearing with us, as we're just going to get everything set up really, really fast, and we should be into draft in just a second. You talked about stinky cheese. I got to talk about my favorite cheese. It's delicious. Everyone loves to eat it. It is the Juice Pirates. I know actually Juice Pirates doesn't have anything to do with cheese, kind of, sort of, but I mean, some teams have caught other players off guard with a little Juice Pirates. Granted, once you draft it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's Juice Pirates. I don't know. I would love to see something memey like that, but I think here is not where you want to play that. Like, I think this is more or less like the discussion we had earlier in the WildHeart versus Chili Mountain matchup. This is the game where you go, okay, our back is against the wall. we need to make sure that we play smart, safe, and maybe even standard. Maybe just make sure everyone on the side of Diamond Hands has something they're extremely comfortable on, and just looking for a nice synergistic composition that checks all the boxes. You got CC, maybe you got some engage, disengage tools, you've got maybe some anti-healing with a Decker Kane or an Ana. I feel like that Decker Kane the last game, Grubby, was so instrumental in shutting down the Brightwing consistently from the Simplicity side.
Yeah, especially since you are running that Diablo, or when you're running like Brightwing with a Diablo, or Brightwing really with any tank, you want to have anti-heal. And there aren't that many in the game. Like, do you know off the top of your head how many exactly, Justin? I want to say like 5 to 7 or something.
Baha seems to know the answer.
I think I can think of 3 really quickly off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's Ana, there's Deckard, there's Johanna.
Malthael. Oh, Johanna too, yeah.
There's Valera.
Stitches, Valera, Garrosh. So 7 at least. But, are you really going to run Valera for it or Johanna for it? Then you've already kind of hurt yourself as well. So there aren't that many picks. And I've been curious to see why Ana gets picked so little. Is it because bruisers have such reach on her these days that it's a more bruiser-heavy meta? Or is it because maybe a little bit that ping disadvantage that European players have, that therefore they at least don't want to try Ana? What do you think, Justin? In your experience, why no Anas at all in these last 2 seasons?
She's a good counter pick into the Brightwing. That's kind of historically been into like Alex Straza and Brightwing. That's sort of been one of her niche situations, was just for the W, the healing reduction. And then obviously she has her Nano, which is the main like big power that she has. I'd say her main drawbacks is just that you basically have to last pick her, because there's so many things in the game that can just kind of single-handedly counter her. Something that seems somewhat innocuous in a normal team comp, like a Falstad, is actually the most terrifying thing ever if you're an Ana. Suddenly that Falstad is a lot scarier, because the option of Flank Gust just automatically winning a team fight is, like, that threat existing is just kind of too much. So I think that's the main thing.
You mean he gusting the Ana along with her team into the team?
Yes. Yeah, because at that point,
frontline.
She's just doomed, yeah. So it turns something like a Falstad that normally you're not really too afraid of Flank Gust because it's not really worth it, but when an Ana comes in play, it's kind of, it's scary. The Falstad looks very different from the eyes of the Ana.
Well,
you gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, we're into our Cursed Hollow draft, and maybe we'll see that Falstad, maybe we'll see some Dahaka. I feel like this is some of their best maps, being able to proxy waves and push things up. Maybe even, here's where you pull out your Pocket Vikings, or even a Pocket Samuro? Grubby, I gotta kind of default to you on this one. Do you think Samuro could be a really good push split control tool, or do you think more or less you want to look for something like a Vikings or like a Rex Armisha to maybe play that split push, or even that Dahaka Falstad?
Well, we don't see June, and also I don't know that really works anymore. Like once you grab Abba Samuro, you've only got 3 normal heroes that can do normal things. And I think Samuro, it's not so much about how to kill him or how to, it's not so much how to kill him. It's how to not take too much damage from his push and just don't lose to him in team fight. He only has 1 damage source, auto attack. Blade Storm is not enough for spell damage to do anything. So with Abba Sam, there's only 3 heroes you need to worry about, and you get to do that with 5. If any of you are global, you can defend Samuro and then ace the team fight. So I think we may still see it sometimes, but she's tend to get worse and worse as people get better at defending them.
Okay, well, first pick Vala, it's gone very well for the side of Simplicity, as we will unload a Nubarak and Hogger. So this time, the members of Diamond Hands getting the Nubarak, and if memory serves me correct, this was Caesar Salad's Nubarak from Dragonshire that was just almost impossible to deal with, it felt. Yeah, it was owning, to simply put it.
Yeah, this is the Vala priority moving up to an actual first pick here is kind of interesting, that as the day has progressed, Vala has become more and more priority, especially with WildHeart picking it in all of their games. Vala is obviously going to be a bit of a staple here, it seems, considering how priority she is here. And the Uther pick is strange. I'm assuming that, they have the option to flex this into main tank Uther. Blaze, I really enjoy that they picked up the Blaze here, because Blaze essentially turns any comp you run with a Vala into sort of like a pseudo double support composition. The bunker provides that extra save that if you don't have something like that, it's really hard. But pairing that with the Uther, I think, might be showing your hand too early. Mephisto is not a common thing, and I know that I talk about Mephisto a decent amount, but Mephisto is like, you can't play double support into Mephisto. And so if they're showing already that they're going Vala, Uther, Blaze, if they don't ban it, I really would hope that Diamond Hands fix it, because I would say in the draft, it's basically an auto loss for Simplicity if Diamond Hands picks Mephisto here.
Because he loves clumped up grouping people.
Yeah, and Vala needs that, like, kind of just constant protection, and especially if this does become a double support comp, it's basically unplayable into Mephisto. It's just, Mephisto loves playing into that.
Maybe that's why they show Masquerade on Uther, which looks like you're giving it away. But maybe they're like saying this is going to be... No, actually, that doesn't make sense. Why are they showing that?
There's been a lot of second ban Uthers from the right side team in this situation. I've noticed when Vala's been picked.
Why do teams always pick the hero that's really going to be played by them? Why isn't it Mene picking Uther just to create more smoke bombs?
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of committing to just kind of like many supports.
Triple support.
Like quad support almost with Zarya and Blaze being like pseudo supports. It's a lot of faith in the Vala.
Is that enough though? Like, not enough, but is this too much into the Vala? Like, I understand, hyper carries exist, hyper carry compositions, we've seen them everywhere, but is this so much just like, okay, Vala, you better get that value? Like, is it just one of those things? Oh god, oh no.
That is not Mephisto.
I thought it was going to be Abba, honestly. Like, how hard does this team push? I guess Zarya Vala Blaze pushes pretty hard. But there's only 2 heroes with wave clear, Vala Blaze. Zarya can get it when endangering herself by using shields, right? So I thought Diamond Hands has all the tools they need to play an Abathur comp on Cursed Hollow. The poor slug does seem to have fallen an awful lot.
I was at the start of the draft. I was going to ask you guys about him, but we started talking about a lot of other things. I want to get your thoughts on this, Justin, as we're just about to load into our final map of the day. Who do you think is going to win here? I actually, before the Phoenix came out, I marked a Diamond Hands win. I'm going to stay with that, but what do you think before we get into this map?
It's really hard to call this. The comps are very strange. I'm gonna give it to Simplicity. I don't know if their draft is actually better, but it feels like they have the momentum going into Game 5. And like we said earlier, it's so hard to come back from being up 0-2 to down to 2-2. When you're in this Game 5 situation, it is so difficult. And I think that they're gonna have to play a lot of macro on the side of Diamond Hands to win. It's gonna be really weird if they try to just hit them in the front line and they have their 4 supports with their Vala. And I guess I'd have to see who's playing the Vala, because I don't want to be biased, so I can't be too toxic. So depending on who's playing the Vala, I think it might make a big difference here as well. But I gotta give it to Simplicity. I think they've got the momentum in their hands.
Alrighty, Justin, thank you for the breakdown, and it is going to be unaverted once again on that Vala for the side of Simplicity, Masquerade on the Uther, Mene on the Zarya, Fancy Pants or Pants on that Blaze, and Legacy back on the Deckard Kane. Over on the Diamond Hands side, we have got Gotfilth playing that Phoenix, Kelsier playing the Lunara, Lucio to be played by Valimar, Nintori once again on the Hogger, and back on the Big Beetle Boy, we got Caesar Salad playing a Nubarak. I said it was a Diamond Hands win. I should have waited for that last pick to come through. Either way, I'm going to stick with what I wrote down in my book. Grubby, I want to get your thoughts, your breakdown, your analysis on what could potentially, or your expectations for this map between Simplicity versus Diamond Hands.
Yep, I think it's Diamond Hands. I don't think this is a good draft for this map or in general. I'm not too enamored by Zarya, to be honest. Okay. I think it's a little overrated. And I think Diamond Hands has a team that can deal with this pretty darn well. I'm going to go with Diamond Hands. I think they're going to close it out 3-2. There, it's been said, it's been noted.
I mean, Diamond Hands, they tweeted out before the series started today that, oh my god, Valimar, can you get away? Hungering Arrow is going to find the kill. Valimar actually got stuck up against the wall, did get hit with the Scroll of Sealing, and then just unaverted comes through, dumping in damage, continuing the motif, if you will, of just this auto attack build Creed of the Hunter, showcasing to us that it is not a Papega talent, that it is a winning talent. But we'll have to see if that'll be the case here in map number 5. A Nubrak having to burrow charge away, taking a lot of damage. Can the Hungering Arrow find another kill? Not this time.
Whoa, Kelsier, actually, it feels like a misclick. He was like Frodo in the swamp of bodies. Don't follow the lights. He went right into Zarya.
Well, this is such a good reference. Thank you, Grubby.
I just forgot what the swamp is called. I need to get on top of my Lotter game more. But yeah, this is pretty standard and normal, and this is, I think, the strongest part of the Zarya game. I think she drops off later, but this is where she's strong. This fort is it's probably gonna happen, let's face it. And Diamond Hands, they're gonna try to get a bit of XP advantage in the other lanes. We've seen Hogger sometimes trying to dismount Blaze, and that would have been good had Lucio not died earlier on. Like, then it would have been fine. Now, small advantage to Simplicity.
Now, we're talking about advantages in the lanes and everything like that, and I'm looking at the experience breakdown, and the question that I have for you, Grubby, is this investment through the bottom lane on the Simplicity side worth the payout? Because Hogger has been free pushing mid lane, and Blaze has just been harassed by the Phoenix the entire time in top lane. Blaze has missed quite a bit of experience. There's nearly 1,000 difference in just the minion experience to the side of Simplicity, and I feel like Nintori just got what we all wish we get in our Storm League games, where the enemy team ignores you for the first 2.5 minutes. You get a camp, you get a fort front gate. The enemy team, yes, they got the bottom lane fort front gate in about 25%, but the same can be said about Hogger through mid lane. I think this is, all in all, a victory to the side of Diamond Hands with too much investment through the bottom lane on Simplicity side.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we've all been in that spot before at our jobs or whatever, where maybe your superior or a colleague says you're going to do this thing and you don't even know how you're going to do this thing because you've never studied for it, but now you have to do it because the other guy is sick. And that's kind of what happened here. They told Blaze, like, you're going to double soak. He's like, okay, cool. On Cursed Hollow, Pepe laugh. He's like, wait, well, I'll try to figure it out, you know, accept first, get the job, I'll try to learn for it later. But he never really did. There wasn't enough guidance, too much work pressure, and he didn't even get paid for the overtime. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It's hard for him. But now, let's see. Level 7, coming closer. Diamond Hands, fighting for the tribute. Blaze, going top. That's very telling. Simplicity, 100% focusing on the stall, not on getting the tribute. Blaze wants to catch up to that, so get that level 7.
I'm watching this engagement in the bottom lane, and slowly but surely, Diamond Hands are kind of whittling down the side of Simplicity. Yes, it is this triple support through the bottom lane, or the double healer, single support, however you want to break down the roles, but it seems like, yeah, Vala's getting a few stacks here and there, but it doesn't seem like Simplicity's hard winning this out. As I say this, of course, Caesar Salad chunked down to about 25% of his HP and continuing to do so, as Uther is 1 stack away from finishing out Silver Touch, not even 5 minutes in. This has been pretty good for Simplicity, and maybe I need to reel things back. Maybe Simplicity is going to be the stronger one, as it seems like Diamond Hands can't really get enough damage through all of this healing and shielding from Zarya.
It's okay, they're here just to shout words and abuse at Simplicity. They're not looking to get any kills. Your father was a hamster and all that.
Your mother smelled like elderberries.
Exactly. How did you know? Yeah, it did smell like that. Yeah, I thought I noticed something. But the thing is, this fort is going down, and that's fine. That was always going to happen. They're here to dissuade and slow down. Hogger just killed a 60% fort with 1 singular minion wave.
And then I'm curious in top lane how Phoenix is getting along. He's gotten the entire front gate. So a fort... the trade is still going over to Diamond Hands. They still have the gains here. Granted, yes, first objective went over to the side of Simplicity, but I think Diamond Hands understood exactly what the play was. Simplicity, they can sit here and delay out with all of this healing, all of this shielding, but at the same time, when we get into latter half, when it comes to big bursts, when it comes to heroics, I feel like this is where Diamond Hands will pop off, and Diamond Hands, they have got this 3/4 of a level lead, and this is what I'm waiting for, as Caesar Salad has scouted out the boss play, Lunara on the right side of our minimap, grabbing the objective, stun from Uther, Caesar Salad looking for the angle to burrow charge in, Hogger's back into all of this, burrow charge is gonna be a little too late. Boss does go over to the side of Simplicity, Masquerade low here, but he's not worried, he's got a lot of friends around to keep that healing coming through. Unaverted, forced to stop Hearthing, has to back away with Blaze jeopardizing away.
I do believe that's the official term, and you know, it's getting pretty interesting here. Simplicity is still riding off the coattails of their draft pick with that triple support, forcing a boss capture under heavy duress, even though they were a little down in XP. And it's an interesting pickup, a deny pickup, a space creation pickup. It's not going to do a whole lot of siege damage, but it is a space creation, because now there are layered threats and delays. Still a residual bruiser camp mid, the Pants is going to push in a little bit, and now that creates space for Vala on the siege camp. It create space to make the long journey up north for Simplicity to start doing to top fort what they did to bottom fort. But so far, it's been honeymoon for this composition. This is where double, triple support, even 3.5, is quite strong. Now that Cocoon are out and High Five, things may change. And the noose is closing. Diamond Hands is coming in with the rotation. They're coming in with the surround. But they're being stopped in their tracks by some nice CC of Legacy.
A little bit of CC thrown out to dissuade the members of Diamond Hand stepping forward. Phoenix is pushing up things in mid lane. We have only 1 kill so far as Unaverted tries to get the Hungering Arrow out. Mene looks like he's going to be uncontested for this objective, and 2 out of 3 of these tributes go over to the side of our Simplicity crew as there's a forced burrow charge from Caesar Salad to disengage from the Vala Rain of Vengeance. Hogger comes through with the Hog Wild, tries to find a staggering blow, just bops back the Zarya. Vala, the one to be hit with the Cocoon as there's a stay while missing Purification. Salvo is going to be mitigated by the Divine Shield on Mene, so he will live, and this is looking better and better though for Diamond Hands. They're chasing in. Fancy Pants in the flank position, but he needs to play this smart. Caesar Salad, Hungering Arrow. Oh, the burrow charge! One! I saw it too. I saw that too. That is... If I can request a replay, I gotta request a replay of just that, because how in the hell did he get... He got his W. He got the hardened carapace just in time. Yeah.
Are we in the Matrix? Because Caesar Salad was the one. This is insane. Sorry.
Grubby, I love you. I actually just watched Matrix last night. No, that was great. That was very good.
No,
it was very
bad.
good.
It was very bad. You're nice. Just throw me under the bus and drive over me 3 times. So, they're going for Hogger. He goes down. Oh, 2 tributes. Hogger dead. Now what?
So the channel is going to go over to Lunara, so that's the trade. It's going to be another objective to the side of Diamond Hands.
Boss cap.
And there will be a boss play. Hogger up in 11 seconds. This is all 5 members of Simplicity are on this boss. Phoenix is already rotating back to mid lane. There are still Siege Giants in the bottom. It seems like Phoenix wants to make a play around that. Next objective, which will be Curse for one of these teams, going to be on the bottom left of our mini-map, so it's going to be in favor of Simplicity positionally. Grubby, we are kind of in this game number 5. Whose comms do you want to jump into for this objective phase?
We haven't heard from Simplicity yet. Let's go.
Into Simplicity we go.
I'm ready to help in case.
Yeah. They're going to be late on this.
Are you okay,
Don't get cooked, don't get cooked.
I'm floating between. Okay.
Getting potion sets up for the cat.
They will come from mid. We can destroy them in the choke.
Okay. I just need hatred. I get hatred. I just take hatred.
You can get shield off this.
Oh, yeah, still top. They are giving the curse.
Yeah.
Okay.
We push through here.
I'll just finish those.
Where do you want to push?
We can go 12 then.
I think we push bot, right?
I think we should all in. Yeah, we should all in, but fuck
we
it.
do boss. Boss is 1 minute out of this. So look for your curse and fall back into boss.
I'm no done.
Can we do the Resi?
Yeah. They
Safely. Just chill. Yeah, just chill. But
They were on it.
it's good fight for them if they come. Watch the choke
coming
here.
from mid.
I'll guard
that choke.
It's good.
I knew it might come from here though.
Can you
That's fine. No. Let him E over. If he E over is fine. They're not contesting.
We take this fight, yeah? Don't push out.
Yeah.
Destroy them.
Hugger's mid.
I can look for an explosion on Phoenix maybe.
I can turn Phoenix over the one. Oh.
Close.
Sorry, good luck.
I get a lot of damage here. Watch me.
Just watch Vala.
I'll have to shield you for energy, bro. I'm on energy.
Sapphire out.
Masca get
Spence, we can look for a noob next. Okay. Careful. Muckroom.
I'm chilling, you're chilling. Yeah. We are hard chilling.
Oh,
you can't turn
Nope, yeah, that's good.
I got interrupted.
That's fine.
We can stay. They have no... We have easy can protect the guy.
Take the guy.
Fine.
No shield for me.
I got it.
We are chilling.
Oh, Basca,
Mask needs help.
I'm out.
They're going.
Don't turn on this, no?
I'm ready.
We destroy them. We destroy them.
Caesar Salad.
Sleeping.
Nice, I stand. Don't wait. Lucio, don't wait.
Hugger.
I have everything.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't.
Go core. Just protect. Don't die. Protect this guy.
I'm safe.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
He's gonna bait us. Go.
Step in.
When do you have stun mask?
I have.
I'm low mana. I'm just using blessings and hitting core.
Yeah, just go core, it's fine.
We have 50
stand.
seconds.
I stand.
Stun, I fell.
Holy shock. Nice. I still have DS and everything. I keep it for
bunker and
next
follow.
game.
Can you keep Bambino, Mama?
Double stand.
Jump in bunker when you have.
Double stand, guy.
Finish.
GG. Hard game.
Nice.
And just like that, Grubby, that is going to be Simplicity with the first reverse sweep of HeroesCCL Season 3. I didn't want to leave those comms because I was like, if they win, I want to hear what they have to say. So exciting things for Simplicity as they roll it back. And speaking of rolling things back, we got Justin rolling back into our comms as well. Justin, did that game go as expected? Because honestly, I think I might have cursed that Phoenix.
Yeah, I think it went kind of about as expected. I was kind of hoping to see Diamond Hands get a little bit more split pressure in the early game. They had the Phoenix, and it seemed like their plan with the Phoenix was to kind of just put pressure on mid and top at the start, while the rest of the team kind of tried to, reduce the pain in the bot lane that was just kind of inevitable. But they definitely didn't get enough mid and top for that, and this whole time Simplicity's just basically running it down bottom, and they just didn't have good enough answers to deal with it. I think it just was a bit too much for them. They kind of would have had to need to just sort of like sack bottom entirely and just split everywhere else. It seemed like they just didn't know really what to do into it.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, basically Simplicity's kind of sitting in bottom lane getting a fort, and while Grubby and I were like, well, yeah, they get the fort, but Hogger's getting all this free stuff. That's kind of moot. It was basically Simplicity was like, cool, we're gonna run it down bot and then just win the game. Was that basically just it for Simplicity's playstyle in that map?
Yeah, I mean, with what they drafted, that was pretty much Simplicity's plan, and it kind of, the more people they can pull bottom without actually stopping them from pushing, the better. Since Diamond Hands, if the Phoenix would have been like a Chromie or a Junkrat or something, Junkrat was banned, but something that could, or a Mephisto would have, if Diamond Hands last picked Mephisto, they would have absolutely destroyed them in that game. There would have been no way for them to push bottom like that into it. So I think it was kind of a fault partially of their draft, but with what they had, I think they needed to just kind of go ignore bottom to some extent and try to get 2 forts elsewhere for it.
To be honest, I don't understand the Phoenix. Phoenix is someone that can take small pokes for free without stressing his healer because of the shield. Meanwhile, he can do small pokes to enemy teams and have that poke matter. But poke doesn't matter into 4 supports. So it doesn't seem like he is really the key here. Normally against support, either you out-macro them, which they didn't do enough of, and they would need to be more mistake-free. When Hager got called at 2 out of 3 versus 2 out of 3 tributes, that was game-ending, neck-breaking. Then, that was a bad mistake there for Hager, sadly. Notori got caught on the mid-rotation that he didn't expect. Maybe he thought it was going to be boss already. Secondly, if you are going to play against double support, either a Mephisto or Maiev, someone that can do a lot of damage to clump targets, or you want to have some kind of isolation, like a big silence, a horrify, a wailing arrow, and they didn't have that either, nor does Phoenix have that. So yeah, I do agree it's not the best final pick there, Phoenix.
Well, we've talked a lot about Diamond Hands side of things, but you know what we have on the line? We got Legacy over here, and we got a few questions for him. Legacy, congratulations on your reverse sweep in HeroesCCL. How you feeling?
Thank you. Feeling good. It was a interesting start to the day, but I mean, we're confident. We've been here before. As Kira always says, we're scaling, so had to warm up a bit, but found our way in the end.
You definitely scaled up in game number 3, and I don't want to hoard all of the questions, so let me throw it over to Justin.
Yeah, so what was your kind of mentality going into game 3? Because it felt like games 1 and 2, you were maybe caught off guard a bit by Diamond Hands, and it seemed like something really changed dramatically in game 3. So is there any like discussion between the team or anything like that, or what do you think was the cause for that?
Discussion-wise, like in between games, I told everyone to like take a couple-minute break, step away, and then basically when we came back, I just said like, Fancy and I play in NGS, and we just played against basically their whole team on Wednesday, and we 3-0'd them, and I just said like, we can easily do it again. So this is just the start of the 3-0.
Okay, all right. Grubby, any questions for Legacy?
Is that screen new there?
Yeah. I have adapted my work from home setup, so I like.
Yeah, kind of expanded it.
Nice
Cool.
big screen. Yeah, I think you can probably see like a reflection or whatever of the screen, but yeah.
Just kind of, you've got such an illustrious background. I noticed it. First, first of all, congrats. Hey, we were wondering, maybe you can help clear it up. Why Malfurion on the teleportation map like Dragonshire, where you kind of like want jumps and stuff, and then Brightwing on the map where you don't necessarily need it, BOE? Was there anything going on that you want to reveal?
Yeah, so the first game we were discussing between the two, Vala is really nice, just being able to integrate the Vala and having the cleanse and everything, and more consistent support. I'm not the biggest fan of Brightwing Vala, especially just because pre-10 it's extremely difficult to keep the Vala alive if she ever gets dove, so you can sometimes fall behind. And then I think we kind of compensated for not picking it in game 1, and it's a strong pick for us like the past few seasons, so I think we just wanted to go with that in game 2, and ultimately I think our game 2 comp was fine. I think it was just we executed really poorly.
Yeah, it is interesting though, because that was our theory, that you were thinking so much of Brightwing in game 1 that you picked it in 2, but none of that matters anymore. You guys did the reverse sweep with some excellent play. Especially that last comp, I think that was the most special comp that you guys showed. Something that was in your bag of tricks for this series in particular?
It's something we did in a scrim earlier this week, and it worked really well, and so wasn't necessarily something we planned to pull out today, but when you're on game point, game 5, you know, gonna pull out the things that you think are working best.
That's when to bring it out. Very well done.
It was a really, really good series, and I gotta say, Legacy, you had some amazing support plays. Before I let you run out of here, are there any shots that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Shout out to the team. I think we handled adversity pretty well today, going down 0-2, and then being able to stay mentally strong to come back and reverse sweep. Something not all players can do. So happy to kind of see that. I think that's way better as a team, giving us learning and showing that in this early stage than a 3-0 would show. 3-0 doesn't really show too much other than, okay, you played well that day. But really happy with that, so shout out to the team. Shout out to Coach Cure. He gave us a little pep talk before the game. Maybe it wasn't so good because we didn't start that hot today. But
once you forgot his pep talk,
just memeing. And then shout out to Party Foul and the rest of Simplicity that always supports us. Always really appreciative of everything they do. And then shout out to you guys for running the league and everyone in Twitch chat for supporting.
Well, thank you so much, Legacy, for joining us. Congratulations on your reverse sweep, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday going up against Chili Mountain. Good luck in your practice, your scrims, and we'll see you next weekend.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for joining us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our 2 best of 5s of the day, but we're not done just yet. I believe Justin has been sitting, waiting, looking at every single possible play this weekend. And Justin, I believe you have a nice little breakdown for us for one of the best plays of the weekend?
Yeah, I have a point here that, in hindsight, maybe wasn't the optimal play because it's of Diamond Hands, actually, against Simplicity, when it looked like Diamond Hands was kind of taking it. Mm-hmm. But I will say that something that's kind of interesting about this clip is that it sort of was the breaking point, if you will, of the series, I think. It was like the absolute biggest high Diamond Hands had, and the flow of combat kind of oscillates. You kind of have highs and lows, and unfortunately for Diamond Hands, they seem to peak out right at this exact moment here. So if we couldn't bring the clip up between Diamond Hands and Simplicity, so this was the absolute peak of Diamond Hands. So they needed to stop holding here. So they kind of overcommitted to their comp of trying to just all in, and they used pretty much everything onto the Malthael. And then they've basically used like everything for nothing here. And even like the Maiev cage comes out, but all they have is Blaze and Muradin. So at this point, they've used every single ultimate pretty much. They have Brightwing, but that doesn't really count. Whereas Diamond Hands has pretty much everything available, everything offensive that they need, the 3 offensive ultimates. And Simplicity kind of overstays here. After using all their cooldowns and failing their engage, they're just way too far forward, and they just get punished for it, like, dramatically. And like I said, after the series finished, in hindsight, this was basically the best moment for Diamond Hands. This was the moment where they turned this game, and this is where they cemented their victory in game 2. But basically from this point forward, Diamond Hands probably should have been selling short here after having such a dramatic spike in that exact moment. That was kind of the peak of Diamond Hands, I would say. And it was kind of all downhill from there in the series overall. The kind of an exhaustion move was played out there, if you will.
I absolutely agree. That was a very high moment for Diamond Hands, and I'll go ahead and name this segment for everyone at home. That was our wisdom power play of the day. I don't know. That just sounds really cool. So maybe that's what we'll call it for future weekends, or I'll just change the name every single broadcast we have. Anyways, thank you for the breakdown, Justin, and I absolutely agree. That was literally like the peak for Diamond Hands, and then from that moment on, getting into game number 3, everything just started toppling over to the side of Simplicity. And I honestly, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Simplicity, they held strong, and coming back and reverse sweeping in a best of 5 series, that's not easy to do. A best of 5 series is anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours long when you're playing Heroes of Storm. That's exhausting. I don't know if any of you have played in high stakes for 2.5 hours straight. Storm League, yeah, it's Storm League, but this is a lot sweatier and a lot more intense. And so I have to give credit to Simplicity for an amazing series. And Diamond Hands, I'm not counting them out by any means for the season. I think Diamond Hands showed a lot of promise today. Chili Mountain, I think, is the big one that really needs to kind of prove, to me at least, that things are really kind of clicking for them, because WildHeart, they kicked off today so strong. And let's actually take a look at the standings so far, as I kind of jumped ahead. My apologies. Grubby, how are things shaping up so far in our standings?
Our first day of the first weekend of CCL Season 3 has seen WildHeart be off to a flying start with a 3-0 victory. Simplicity crawls back from an 0-2 and shows up in Forest with a dominating 3-2 comeback victory that puts Diamond Hands and Chili Mountain at the bottom for now. Tomorrow, keep in mind, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, check your time zones and daylight saving schedules. Europe and NA start to pull away from each other here. And so we want to make sure that you know the starting time. And we're going to have the other 4 teams that haven't played yet play tomorrow. We're going to be starting off with Granite Gaming versus 30K and Oxygen versus Storm. The teams that haven't showed themselves yet this season. So exciting.
Yeah, the update for anyone wondering. Actually, let's take a look at the schedule first, and then we can talk about time zones and stuff like that. Because Grubby, you alluded to what we could be seeing here, as I'm anticipating what do we get to see. All right, there's our tomorrow matches. Granite Gaming versus 30K, Oxygen versus Storm Esports. Now, Grubby had mentioned time zones. Time zones are this crazy thing that happen around the world. Sometimes we like them, sometimes we don't. In this situation, as Grubby was saying, NA will start at the normal time tomorrow, 11 a.m. PDT, 2 o'clock EDT. When it comes to Europe, we're starting 1 hour early because of the daylight savings. So that'll be 19 CEST or 7 p.m. CEST. So set your alarms for 1 hour earlier tomorrow if you are a European viewer, if you don't want to miss out on that Granite Gaming versus 30K and Oxygen versus Storm Esports. And I have to say this to Justin and Grubby, as well as to everyone in Twitch chat, Lauber has promised me a Cho'Gall. Someone in Twitter, Alex said it wasn't a promise, but he literally said, I'm baking up something interesting. I said, what are you baking up? And he said, it starts with Cho, ends with Gall. So I think we should see some Cho. I mean, it could be anything, realistically.
Cho Phoenix Gall?
No!
Very good hero.
I mean, you know what? I'll just at least take the Cho Gall. I'll take my solid victory. But today has been so much fun. And as a reminder, there's that 1 hour earlier start time for our European viewers for tomorrow's matches. But before we close out today, I got to get your thoughts. Justin, what's your takeaway from our Saturday matches?
Vala is OP, apparently. It seems like Vala won pretty much all the games. That wasn't something that I really expected. Maiev wasn't as prioritized as I expected either. And WildHeart is maybe even scarier than I thought. And yeah, I guess that's the main takeaway is WildHeart's real scary, and Vala's OP.
Oh, Grubby, any takeaways from today's matches?
Lunara can work if you ask CC. Vala better than I thought. I had started to try and convince my Storm League allies that I was correct not banning her. And actually that does still seem correct because she was never banned. She was just picked every time after the others were gone. But I also thought she wasn't that good anymore, and that turns out not to be true. well, gonna have to adjust. When new information comes in, we learn. We don't try to get our ego bruised by being wrong. So yes, Vala. And then Blaze. Very, very strong as well. Very robust tank. And God, isn't it good when your allies use bunker. That's why I love to watch pro play CCL. Things happen. As a Medivh or Blaze player, sometimes people don't use your stuff. And again, maybe I don't place it as well as the pros. There's always more to learn in the CCL. It's where we learn how the game is supposed to be played, even if many of us will never see that in our own games. A wonderful link, though.
I agree, Grubby. I think it'd be really interesting to kind of do like a meta check-in around like week number 4 or something like that and just kind of see how the meta is developing draft and even map pool-wise for all of these CCL teams. But we got to get to that point, and until then, we will have a lot more matches for you all. But today's matches were a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thanks again to Next Level Gaming for joining HeroesCCL for Season 3 as a sponsor. Make sure you use !NXT in chat to find out more information about that awesome esports center in Florida. But as I said, that is going to wrap up things for today in HeroesCCL. Week number 1, day number 1. We'll be back tomorrow, Sunday, Halloween, for 2 more amazing best of 5s. Until then, I've been Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justin. You all have an amazing Saturday, and we'll see you Sunday for more HeroesCCL action presented by Wisdom. Good night.